Infield now. 2 balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. This is way back. Welcome on. Chris Taylor.
What's going on, everybody? We're going to say it, Blake. We're going to go with it. This is Dodgers Therapy presented by DodgerBlue.com. I'm Scott Geirman, senior staff writer, Dodger Blue. I'm here with my good buddy, managing editor, Dodger Blue. How we doing, Blake?
Doing pretty good. It's nice to see the Dodgers kind of get back on track today after losing in the 9th inning yesterday. I didn't get to watch that game because I was out there covering Kershaw. So good to see them win today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It was really a refreshing thing. It was good to see Gavin Stone, really fight out there. I wish he, was able to go a little bit deeper into the game, but it was really, I was impressed from Dave Roberts there to really, get him out of there before things got too messy. He really looked like he didn't run into a wall, but he looked like he started to slow down. I feel like it was a good spot for him to get out. You could tell that Coors was getting to him a little bit. What are some things you like from Gavin today?
He was great for the first 5 innings of the game, and I mean, in Coors, that's kind of what you could ask from a pitcher. Everything always goes wrong that can go wrong there. And then he started to struggle with his control a bit there at the final inning he pitched in that 6th inning. So overall, it was an okay day from a pitcher at Coors. I mean, Stone has been so good overall that I'm not going to put too much stock into that final inning there. Like, you just have to look at his full workload and see he still gave them a chance to win because they did end up winning, and he did his job well enough.
Yeah, he's been terrific. Like his last, coming into the game, I think his last 9 starts, they flashed out there. He's had almost a 2 ERA, 2.06, 6-1 his last 9 starts, allowing like a 2.15 batting average against. He's been terrific. He's probably been my favorite pitcher on the year, like without a doubt. We'll get into it a little bit more. We'll just wait for a lot more people to trickle in here. Appreciate everybody stopping in, late Thursday night edition between, Blake and I. Again, we appreciate everybody showing up. We'll keep waiting for it. We're going to get some momentum rolling. It's you and I always like to hop on here, talk about some, get some topics in that people generally kind of shy away from. We'll, really emphasize a lot of stuff here, exchange a lot of conversation with the chat. It's my favorite part of it. So we're going to get in here, get a lot of conversation between it. Roy, what do we got? We'll do this early. We don't have enough starting pitching. Need to trade for 2 more starters. 2 more starters. Roy, yeah, let's see. Scott emphasized we don't have enough starting pitching. Traded 2 more. I mean, it's so funny. Like Blake says it all the time. Everybody says it all the time. I hear questions that, do they have too many starting pitchers? Do you think the Dodgers need to trade for more starting pitching? It's just hilarious baseball timing that the second I'm like, Blake, as of now, do you think that the Dodgers, are comfortable with their starting pitching? And you go out and over the weekend, you kind of lose, 2 of your guys. Yamamoto goes down, Buehler goes down. But Buehler, I feel like is is absolutely anything but health and has everything to do with just his stuff. And they're, found a reason to get him off his feet, get him off the mound, at least a major league mound, so they can do some refining there. Yamamoto is, very concerning, and we'll see him when we see him because we have absolutely no timeline about it. But I'm with you. I mean, Blake, you kind of in the same thing that maybe like that starting pitching is not so high in the trade thing, but it's creeping into becoming a real need.
At this point, I'm still going to say no until we actually have a firm update on Yamamoto. If Yamamoto's out for the year, then I could be convinced that they need to go get another starting pitcher. But even with the group I have, I feel it's probably good enough. Like if you go into the postseason with Glasnow, Stone, Miller, and throw in Kershaw or someone else that they're going to have, like maybe Paxton ends up getting a start. Like, I don't think it's the worst thing. I think the bottom of their lineup, figuring out shortstop and second base there, and then adding another outfielder is still more pressing for them. I mean, they can go with a bullpen game in the postseason if they need to. I think we all have a lot of faith in their bullpen, and hopefully they're going to get some guys back there. And there's a chance Buehler comes back and figures something out and is able to be like your 4th or 5th starter in a postseason. Like, I'm not betting on it, but I can't totally rule it out, right? So I don't think it's their main thing. Like, I would still have it 3rd on the list of like hitting, bullpen, and then starting pitching probably.
For sure.
I know. Yeah. I put it 3rd, even though the bullpen's been good. Like, you can never have enough good relievers. If they went out and got Tanner Scott, I think that would make a huge impact, more than like a number 4 or 3 starter would make for them. So that's just my view on it. And then I didn't even mention Dustin May. He could be a possibility as well.
For sure. Like, TQT. I mean, we're talking about, Paxton. We'll flash up real quick. Yeah, like, I agree. Like, I don't think any of us disagree with that. Like, it's tough shape if we see Paxton, but we'll get into it. We gotta, we know how these shows go for us on Thursday nights. We have a lot of stuff we can roll into and just keep it rolling if that's how it goes. But we'll look at, we're just going to take a quick peek at the, the Rockies series, how that went. Dodgers scored 31 runs in 4 games. We talk about the offense, and what they'll do, in the time that Mookie Betts is out of there. You're doing a lot of lineup shuffling, the shortstop mix, infield mix, left field, Miguel Vargas back in there. You're going to see a lot of guys. And we're going to see a lot of rotations there. Doc's kind of laid it out that Chris Taylor and Miguel Vargas are going to get time against lefties. Chris Taylor probably without a doubt, for his benefit, is going to get more run. And, and that's, if they're not going to, they're not going to be aggressive. Let's pump the brakes, and they're not going to be aggressive in terms of making any changes with Chris Taylor because they just don't have to. Contract aside, it's where they are from the depth. They just don't have to do that. And they're give them all the run. And from a positive perspective, Mookie Betts going down, some of these other guys, these role players are going to get this starting time, and they're going to get meaningful at bats. And it's hard. A lot of these struggles come from when you're like, I wish they would have more at bats. I wish they have more at bats. Well, this is an opportunity for them to do that. And it's an opportunity for them to find some momentum. You've heard it today. You heard EK talk about it a lot on the broadcast, that finding momentum for these hitters and, getting some, Matty Man, what he was, yeah, exactly. Like I'm with you. They talked about that as well. He's letting the ball get deep. He's getting the barrel to it. And he doesn't look overwhelmed. So I'm with you. That's a great point. That's something I took note of right away. We all know that when he gets it's like he swings a heavy barrel because that's what he does. He's always looking to do damage, a lot of slug, a lot of whiff. That's the profile he's got. So anything currently from his batting average right now and what he's done, in months prior, is going to be improving time. But he looks good in the box. He looks good seeing stuff away, laying off, breaking stuff away. Blake, what do you like it from CT, buddy?
He looks more confident at the plate, like not as in between. I think that's what we talked about a lot early when he was going through his struggles. Mm-hmm. He wasn't ever sure if he wanted to swing or take the pitch, and it just kind of had him out of rhythm. He was either late or too early and swinging at balls and chasing. So it seems like he's more decisive in his at-bats now. And for a hitter, I think that's kind of the most important thing there. Like, we can talk about his mechanics and all that all day, but if you don't have the confidence in yourself at the box and what you're going to swing at and what you're going to take, you're not going to hit anything. And that's what we saw with Chris Taylor early. So, maybe that home run he hit kind of started to get him his rhythm back, and he started to gain a little more confidence. I know he's been putting in a ton of work, even during his struggles. Dave Roberts always credited him for being the hardest worker on the team and most prepared every day. So, for Chris Taylor, I don't think a player just totally forgets how to hit like he did. I know it was a little bit of a downtrend for the last year or so, but he's been a very talented hitter in his career who's produced a lot. So for him to just completely fall off the face of the earth like that, I'm just not sure how sustainable that actually is. And I'm not saying he's going to come back and be that same guy we've seen before, but he can probably at least be a competitive bat for the last man on the bench where you don't have to worry about him taking up a roster spot from someone else or just getting in the lineup once in a while. I think that's fair for him. He can be a fine bench piece. So hopefully he just kind of keeps it going and keeps building on what he's done recently.
Yeah, I agree. And I know I saw, Matty Man, you said, why did it take so long? It's a pretty simple thing. You can look at, not getting consistent run like he had in years past, the front office and Dave Roberts being aware that he's struggling, visibly struggling. You can see it, and them trying to protect him a little bit and not putting him out there, and it becomes a snowball effect. But then there's also another side of that where they're also looking for performance and other guys that need these at bats. And when somebody's in a complete blender at the plate and you're playing in spot duty, how that can snowball. And that's probably what happened. And we've talked for a couple of years now about Taylor's rhythm and timing. And that's what made him great. But it also is, probably a thorn in his side and what can be so detrimental for him. When you get in that vicious cycle, you can see how that really goes. And it's not like he has any place to hide. They can't hide him in the organization. He's going to be out there. And if he's on the team, he's going to play. To what the Dodgers have done, they're continuing to run him out there. And Blake, I really, appreciate what you said the other day. The more you watch Taylor now in these last few games, BC, good to see you, bro. It's good to have you in and welcome in. That you said that of course, the team's going to be better with Chris Taylor out there. And the more we talk about, it's easy to judge. I'm with you. It's easy to, to forget all the stuff he's done in the past for the Dodgers, playoff experience wise and the big moments for him when he's struggling like this and a team that has such high expectations. So Blake, I really appreciate you. If you want to kind of expand on that and kind of give a refresher to anybody, what your kind of thoughts are on with Chris Taylor and what he can do and what you really hope to see from him.
I mean, we've seen in the past that he's been a key contributor for the Dodgers at points in their history here from, 2017 on.
Yeah.
And he's run into a bit of a struggle here, and that's going to happen to some players. And we know he's not Shohei Ohtani and going to break out of a slump in a week, and he's not Mookie Betts. And we have to accept that he's not that kind of elite player. But at the same time, if Chris Taylor gets it going and figures it out, he can be a really valuable piece for the team. And I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen. It's just the Dodgers would love that to happen, because if he can get back to form, even to 2018, 2019 levels, not necessarily his best breakout year type stuff, they're going to be a much better club. It would solve a ton of problems. He can mix in at second base. We all know Gavin Lux is struggling too. He can play the outfield. We've talked about the outfield problems they've had all year. If Miguel Rojas gets hurt or needs a day off, Chris Taylor could fill in there. We've seen with Max Muncy out there, third base is a black hole right now offensively. Chris Taylor can fill in there. So if he's a guy you can get back on track and producing at even a league average level, it would do so much for this team overall. And they just kind of need him to get back on that point. And the last time we talked to Chris Taylor, it was after his home run. And he basically admitted, it's been hard getting in a rhythm without everyday playing time, because he's been used to that throughout his entire career. And he is kind of making that adjustment now. But now he is going to get some of that run and see more at-bats going forward. So hopefully he can just keep building on that momentum and picking it up. Do we expect it to happen? Not necessarily. I mean, it's hard to say he's going to totally come back after how bad he's been for the last year and a half or whatever it's been. But can he be league average or somewhere around there? I don't think that's out of the question.
Yeah, I'm with you. So let's just want to chat about, we'll touch on a little bit more later if we get into somebody really drop some questions about the infield mix and what we see from there. But absolutely, it could be reversed that, Kike provides insurance for CT provides insurance for Kike Hernandez. So either one, I don't care who it is that, kind of gets some rhythm here, but it doesn't matter. And for the moment, they're both playing, Kike is playing a quality third base. I haven't really seen much bad from him. He's showcasing a strong arm there. So he's been holding it down. They've got a nice little thing. They're in some tough stuff. It's easy. I forget all the time. And I know a lot of people in chat watching that will forget, I keep forgetting that Max Muncy's even on the team. It just feels like that happened and it just happened so quick. And we're like, okay, we'll see him in a bit of time. His injury came and went, and it's tough. It's easy to forget Max just because he's been so consistent, but it's really been, a pressing matter with how long. Have you forgotten about him yourself, Blake, a little bit?
No, every time Kike Hernandez takes an at bat, it reminds me Max Muncy's on the injured
Where's
list.
Max?
So
Need him so bad.
I have not forgot about Max Muncy over there.
Are you ready to let go of Kevin Bonds?
No, I think there's a little more upside in there than Kike Hernandez. So if you had to pick between one, I think Kevin was a 100 weighted runs created plus guy last year, and he's been good in his career more times than Kike has. So, I mean, lefty bat also can play every position as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was picking between them, I'd release Kike first, but I mean, neither of them's a great option if we're being honest. So
it's because it's tough right now. It's a tough thing because, I don't keep wanting to talk about, who they're going to release first, but once that comes time, looking into contracts and stuff like that and who's expendable, it's just a matter of what the front office is going to target. But I just keep forgetting. Yeah, Kenny. I think so. I'm with you. I think that he's cost him some stuff. I think absolutely. He hasn't shown much. He's a tool. We'll just say this. He's a toolsy guy who just doesn't. He's just had somebody said it. He's had a lot of chances. He definitely has. And when you can't crack it really with the Toronto Blue Jays, finding yourself on the Dodgers on a time when they kind of need some depth is just funny. It's just really fun. He's a prime DFA candidate. Let's just call it what it is.
Are we going to say Kike running out there with his 150 average and a ton of at-bats isn't costing them games?
I don't think so.
been one of the worst defenders in baseball for the last few years. Like, it's like flip a coin. Like, I'm not going to make a huge argument for either one of them. It's flip a coin and see what one it lands on and DFA the other one. Like, I don't think either of them are great options, and there's not really any point to debating about who's better or who's worse and all that stuff.
I don't think I asked that debate. I didn't ask that debate.
I just mean, like, overall in the chat, like, we're talking about Kike versus Biggio. Like, they're both bad options. Upgrade and move on.
Yeah, shout out to the 500. We just hit it. It's 15 minutes in, so appreciate everybody. I know late night stream. This is it. Just got back from the beach. This was the long. I think it's the longest day of the year. My girlfriend said so. The sun was out incredibly late, so it was a beautiful time. But this is the time when Blake and I just get to chop it up, and I really want to see real quick. Is Kike, are we full on? If we're going to keep Kike around, is it because we're looking ahead towards the playoffs, or we just like the vibes? So please, people in chat, tell me if it's Kike vibes or it's just because you believe he's just like, he's got something to it. Yeah, BC, this is a late one. I know it for a fact. Well, you got to remember, we were here late. We were here for like 2 hours last week, right, Blake?
Yeah, 2 hours. We started at like 8:30 or 9 or something, I think, also.
We were late. Yeah. That's all good.
It was a post-game show, I believe, so it was pretty late. I think it was after their 6 o'clock game, so it ended around 9 or something, and then we hopped on.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, 2-hour emergency show, but this one's just purely for vibes. So I just want to chat real quick. I want to get back into it, get back on track. We just keep waiting I wanted to give a little buffer for people to get in here. I want to talk Gavin Stone for a second. Because I really liked what I saw. I really did. It's just another showcase game, really pitching to contact, and he was getting a lot of whiff there. I really thought that, his fastball looked amazing. His changeup was incredible today. He straight up went 2-pitch stuff today. Primary fastball, 36 fastballs, 27 changeups, so 47%, 35% on either. He was getting a considerable amount of whiff. So today he had 15 total whiffs. Strikeouts look good. Fastball command look good. Are you kind of on the same thing? Were you impressed? Did you come away very impressed with what you saw from Gavin, despite not being able to finish it inning?
Yeah, overall, I was encouraged by the strikeout stuff he had today. It was better. I think that's one of the things we've talked about a lot, where that's kind of the next step for him to break out. It's starting to get more swing and miss. So I think he had 7 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings. So that was pretty encouraging. It seems like his strikeout numbers have been kind of trending up recently, where he was sitting around like 4 or 5 a game before. Now he's usually getting around 7. So I think that's a great step for him, and he just needs to keep building on it. I mean, the sky's the limit, it feels like right now for Gavin Stone, because when he's not getting strikeouts, he's still keeping the ball off the barrel of the bat with the movement he has, and he's commanded the baseball well. He's efficient. He's pitching deep into every game. So,
yeah,
I mean, you can't ask for a whole lot more from what Gavin Stone has done so far.
Yeah, and I mean, his last 7 games, he's pitching around like a 2.57. He's looking good stuff there. He's doing well. I'm very impressed with him. Like I said before, he's probably been my favorite pitcher of the year so far, and I think he'll continuously be that, barring anything crazy, injuries. Knock on wood there. I'm very impressed with him in his second year. That bounce back has been something serious. Again, everybody send us some super chats. Give us some stuff. We got a slate. We got stuff we got to go through. But as always, interacting with chat, interacting with you guys is why we're here. So let us know what anything pressing, and we'll go from there. We got a first one here. It's just another Lux with the worst bad DFA. I mean, yeah, sure. Toolsy. I mean, yeah, that's all it really is. Fast guy. I mean, but Lux has got like a way more sure-handed of a glove than Gavin Biggio. You object to that, Blake Arena?
My only pushback would be Biggio can play multiple positions, where Lux is really stuck at second, and that has that pushed Mookie off of the position he should be at and kind of messed up their whole defense there. So, I mean, I'm not going to lose sleep if they DFA Biggio. They need to upgrade a few spots on their roster. But like, this is the position they're in. They're not going to be able to make a key trade on June 20th. That kind of stuff just doesn't happen. We're going to have to wait for another month. So for the meantime, the Dodgers are winning games. It's fine. Like, we don't have to lose sleep over it. They have a 9-game lead in the division. It is what it is for this moment for another month or so.
Okay. I'm with you. Yeah. Right now, is he kind of your clear cut number 2? Or last thing on Gavin Stone. Is he kind of your clear cut number 2? and then we'll double back. I want to get back to him.
At this point, yes. I mean, if Yamamoto was here, I'd still probably have him as their number 2, but it's hard to argue with the results Stone is putting up.
Yeah. Man, I really wish Gavin Stone could have finished that game. Were you surprised that he went with a 2-pitch mix today? Like primarily 2, or were you kind of okay with it?
I mean, the results were fine, so I'm sure they had their reason for it. I'm not entirely sure what that reason was, but pitching in cores is tough. You always kind of have to make some adjustments there, so kind of is what it is. I'm sure they discussed it with their pitching guys, Danny Lehman and Mark Pryor and Josh Bard and all them. So, yeah, I mean, not too much into it, I think, other than it's cores and you have to kind of adjust there.
Are you kind of the same thing on Blake Trinan a little bit? He's kind of looked like he's struggled a little bit as of late. Are you do you think that's a little bit to the cores effect?
Maybe, but like he was so dominant when he came back and none of us really expected him to be that good. I think he was probably due for some regression just naturally. Like no pitcher is going to shut down opposing hitters for an entire year. Well, he was bound to have some struggles at some point, and then also pitching in cores, maybe just being a little overworked, potentially a little randomness mixed in there. Like there's so many things that can go wrong. I'm not worried about trying it. I have like all the confidence in the world when he's on the mound.
Yeah, I agree. I just did 2 lefties. You can kind of see, aside from that very long at bat there, it looks like he's kind of struggled to get that cutter inside the lefties and anything, get more swing and miss there. But yeah, I agree. People in chat, he's been great. Trinan has been great as always. There's going to be some bumps there. You don't expect everybody, but I think I'm more impressed with the bullpen as a whole. Daniel Hudson, Alex Vesia today, gives up the homer, the absolute nuke to Ryan McMahon. But it comes back, gets 3 punch, and that's good to see from him. He's got like a 1.34 in the year. He's one of the most valuable left-handed relievers, probably most valuable relievers in all of baseball right now. He's been absolutely terrific there. I saw a fantastic thread on Twitter about his fastball, and I'm just super impressed with it. He's got, I think, the number 1 vertical break on his 4-seam fastball in all of Major League Baseball right now. So it's just a terrific stuff. It's good to see him really bounce back from there. But again, we can keep talking about the bullpen because it's just been probably, their most consistent unit all year. Once their starting pitching got going, that's been number 2. And then the offense has been number 3. But I've been overly impressed with what Vesia has done. Evan Phillips, it's good to see him, find some run there. I'm glad Dave put him in today. He kind of brought him in, and it's been good stuff. So I'm glad they took 3 or 4 from the Rockies. Ridiculous place to play. 31 runs post Mookie Betts injury era. What did you, people like to troll, people like to give chatter about, better off without Mookie Betts. What are you seeing from kind of the front end of the top end of the lineup without Mookie Betts with the lineup shuffling?
I love Shohei Ohtani leading off. I think he's the best option for their leadoff hitter. He's got power. He can start a game for you 1-0 real easy. And that's not to say Mookie didn't, but Shohei has power that Mookie doesn't. So that's always intriguing to me. I like the idea of power in the leadoff spot. He's the fastest guy on the team, and that's more if you want to go the more traditional route, speed matters a ton in the leadoff spot. Yeah. He gets on base a ton. Like he's just the best hitter on the team. And anytime you can give the best hitter the most at bats, I'm always for it. I like that they now have lefty righty in their lineup, so you can't bring in an elite lefty reliever to face Ohtani and Freeman in a row. So I just really like what it's done. I mean, Will Smith is going to be Will Smith. Freddie Freeman's going to be Freddie Freeman. You're putting Teoscar in some of those big moments that you talk about, those ones that he's built for. You're getting him in that 4 spot there with the heart. So,
yes, sir.
I mean, it just works. I like it.
He's got heart, man. Like Teoscar looks different. It's aside from him being able to catch a barrel and do some damage, but Teoscar he looks like he's that just happens with hitters that are hot. You unlock a little bit extra something, you unlock a little bit extra plate discipline, you unlock a little bit of, when you get into behind in the count, you get a little bit, more bat to ball, and then good things happen. I think everybody watching in their big comeback game after that, like I didn't have any doubt that there was nothing that reliever could do against Teoscar Hernandez. I don't want to do it. Nobody bring up the check swing. There was nothing that he could have done to say that, yeah, he's going to blow Teoscar down. Like if I had all the confidence in the world in the guy. I just did. That's how it was. It's like, I wasn't going to say, yeah, he's going to hit a tank right here. But I just felt like, yeah, Kenny, yeah, absolutely. He's hitting beach balls for sure. Like, he's just a guy right now that's in an absolute zone. He's just been incredible, capitalizing on what Coors Field can do for hitters. You saw what it did for Chris Taylor. Good things happen. But Teoscar Hernandez is on a different kind of tear. And he's just been an absolute linchpin. And that's why I keep just spamming on Twitter all the time, like, extend Teoscar. Like, do whatever you can. If that's something that you project to see in your next few years, in this window, we're going to keep talking about it for the next couple of years. We'll see them talking about this window, this championship window. You can't allow guys like this to leave. If they want to be in LA, they want to stay, and they're a key piece to the lineup, and they can keep that moving and extend the top. That's just stuff you have to do. But I agree with you on Shohei. I tweeted out that I felt there was going to be no hiccup with Shohei Ohtani at the top of the lineup, because he's done it last year with the Angels. When you were tossing Angel stories my way, I remember writing about Shohei, and when he was in the leadoff spot for a bit. He's just a very dynamic guy. I spoke the other night with Jeff that it's not that he's not trying to do too much. It's that no matter what he does, when he gets bat on ball, it's a hard hit ball. So he's just such a toolsy guy. He's just such a world-class player. I think he's just such a star that he can just absolutely do anything to get on base. Pitchers are afraid to pitch to him, and that's going to get a lot of walk. That's going to just raise that OBP. And when they come in, you saw him getting calls on the outer half today that he should have been getting called for strikes. And that's just purely because pitchers have to go with outside the zone. Like Ty Block looked like he should have gotten a lot of calls on that, in the right-handed batter's box right there. But it was just unbelievable to see from Shohei. So is that a lot of what you're seeing? He's being patient up there. Pitchers are doing it. And when he's coming in the zone, he's doing damage.
Yeah, I think so. That's a big thing with Ohtani. When he was slumping earlier in the year and even throughout some of the end of May and early into June, he was chasing a lot of pitches and swinging at things he shouldn't be swinging at. And when he's at his best and fully locked in, he's taking every single pitch and being really patient and waiting for the pitch he can drive. Yep. I mean, I think you see that with a lot of hitters, but with Ohtani, sometimes it seems a little more pronounced, especially because he's taking such huge swings every time and trying to impact the ball every single time he's up there. So It doesn't look pretty when he's chasing compared to some other people where they might keep their normal swing when they're chasing and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, Ohtani's locked in right now. We're seeing from him what we kind of expected to see from him, of the best player in baseball and a top 3 hitter, undoubtedly. So, I mean, we're going to see this a lot throughout the year. He's going to go through some slumps like everyone else, but overall, this is Ohtani.
Yeah. I'm pulling it up right now so we can see in June what his stuff is. So all of May, he had, 7 homers. He had 7 homers, 19 RBIs in May. This month already, he's got 7 homers, and we're talking, 7 homers and 15 RBIs. And we're on June 20th. He looks like he's healed from that hamstring. Like we talk about all the time. I don't care what he said. It was affecting him clearly. It was, and it just, we're seeing that fire. We're seeing that on field, that emotion come up a little bit. You see like young players in all the time. I've seen Gavin Lux pick his brain a bit. Do you think a lot of these guys on the roster are doing that same thing with Shohei? Do you think a lot of them are trying to, approach Shohei? What are you seeing here? Do you think a lot of them are trying to lean on his experience and, kind of what caliber player he is?
I would hope so. And I think they've all done that throughout their kind of history with the Dodgers, since having Mookie and Freddie and those kind of guys around. Like, young players should always be trying to learn from the veterans, seeing what works for them, watching. I don't know if anyone saw I think I posted on Instagram and Twitter yesterday while I was out covering Kershaw. Like, he was throwing his bullpen, and pretty much every Quakes prospect went up and just watched him throw. And they looked like the fans that were on the other side of the fence there. And that was just funny to me. And it matters because you're learning from one of the all-time greats. Like, any piece of information you can take from them, that's something you should do. It's great. On the other hand, I think a lot of times we also see that the best players can sometimes be the worst teachers, because things that work for them and their natural ability. They just don't have to. Like, we saw Barry Bonds could not teach anyone how to hit when he was trying to be a hitting coach. And the players who don't have that same natural talent have to work harder at the fundamentals and learn how to actually become good instead of just letting their talent carry them. So I think there's both to it. You have to find out what works for you. You're going to listen to Ohtani and say, hey, this is working for you. Let me try bringing it to my game. And If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to drop it and move on. But I mean, so I think it's just really about the player and trying to learn everything they can, taking the information that works for them and building it into their game.
Yeah, for sure. And as I look at the Dodgers offense through June, I'm just going to keep doing this. All I'm going to look at for this season is just really look at stuff in smaller samples. I'm going to look at, month to month, or, how they're looking against competitive teams. I thought this Rocky series was competitive. I liked how they fought, not blowout games. And it was good to see them kind of have that. It was good to see them, get kind of a new lineup mix at the top and, see Freddie Freeman continue to improve on the year. See Shohei to prove that he's just, as good as it gets. And really Miguel Vargas, man, he's been very impressive. This month, it's not such, so much, but like what he's doing, he's not looking terrible. And I think that's kind of all we can ask. And I hope this is updated, but he's like, I know guys don't nobody flame this, but all I've got is 13 at-bats this month to pull from. He's got no Ks. He looks good. He's getting down on the ball. He doesn't look overmatched. And that was something we saw last year a lot of. He looked overmatched down the stretch. And I'm really happy that, he looks like he's, involved, and it looks like he's dialed in. I'm glad to see. I was very happy with Jason Hayward. I was happy with Dave Roberts on how he deployed him. And that was just really good stuff there. Andy Pages, you and I have talked, off stream, and we've talked about how impressed we are about how he's made these steps. I've had conversations with friends about what we're seeing from Andy Pages, that of course he's going to be a free swinger, and there's hitters from that mold, but it's about what you do when your back's up against the wall and you're in 2-strike counts. Can you foul stuff off? Can you force a pitcher, to really make a pitcher's pitch? And if they miss, they miss, and you make a mistake. And it's been really good. To see that confidence from him. He's, 413 on base this month from Andy Pages. So it's just been, and that's a 64 at-bat sample. So it's been some stuff that I'm just very impressed with him. Overall, it's been a good month so far for the offense. I've got really nothing to complain about. They had a terrific series against the Royals, aside from, key guys going down. Is that stuff? Are you kind of with me? Like, I know I have a kind of a different view on this season right now, just because of how much parity there is. Are you kind of with me that you're looking at these series and how they step up against these teams, and you're just pleasantly surprised to see the offense, kind of step up in these big games?
Yes and no. I think there's a little something to that, but at the same time, like we talk about this every single time we bring up the postseason, there's just so much randomness to it, and feels like nothing ever correlates to what happens in the regular season to the postseason. So, I mean, I think it can maybe be an indicator for their success moving forward, that they're not going to crumble in the big moments and stuff like that. But is that going to translate to their World Series success? I don't know. I really don't. I think a lot of it's going to depend on their health. Does Mookie come back and hit well? Can he handle shortstop when they probably don't address it at the deadline? Is Yamamoto going to come back and pitch well? Is he going to stay healthy? Is their rest of their rotation going to hold up? Because if you lose another starter, and especially Glass now, then you're kind of talking about maybe the rotation is the number one need for them. So, I mean, we just don't know. That's the only thing I can say. I hope it correlates. I hope Teoscar is going to go off and carry them in the postseason, but will he? We'll have to see.
Nah. He's the biggest game. He's the biggest moment guy they have. He's done it time and time again. I've got nothing else to pull from. Nope. Don't fool us. Anybody watching, don't let Blake fool you. This is what we've got. Teoscar is going to be the one. He's built for it. Absolutely built for it.
I hope so. I'm just saying, if they lose in the NLDS again and no one shows up, would we be that surprised? I think I'd be surprised, but it's just, that's how the postseason goes. You don't know what you get.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see Matty Man talking about it. I kind of want to talk it too. We've a couple different spots I've had this conversation. What's up, Justin? Shout out to the 700 in here. Appreciate everybody. Late stream. I know, late stream. We didn't expect this. It's not going to be, the biggest numbers. It's late, early day, day game today. We're doing a late stream, but appreciate everybody being in here. But while I've got it in the chat, I want to see when Mookie comes back, does he go back to shortstop? Yes or no? If you want to say yes with or no, but go ahead.
We should also get to that super chat soon.
Yeah, we'll get it.
I feel like he's only going back to shortstop if they don't make a trade, and I just don't know who's available to trade for, right?
Did he answer it? Did he? Yes. Is he going back? Is he going back to short?
I think he is.
You think they'll put him right back there? No way.
I mean,
There's
what
no
else
way.
are they going to do? Unless you're trading
There's
for
no way.
Bobichette, which might be unlikely.
And like guys, everybody's saying no. Like, don't just say it just because like you don't want it to happen. Like, you truly believe that he's not going back. It's like, I'm under the assumption that, like, the way that I see this is that maybe it's a big maybe, but I would prefer no, because look, he's going to be out for 6 to 8. It's not talking about his throwing hand, it's his glove hand. And this is a position he's had to learn and keep up with and do all this stuff. And that extra work has been the thing that's the negative. But he's going to have all this time off, not getting these reps, not being able to go out there and taking these ground balls, not being able to go out there and, go through the motions and keep himself fresh at the position. He's not able to do that. If it was his throwing hand, then he could go out there and do that feasibly and be physically healthy and be able to still, nurse that hand. But he can't right now. That's my thing with it. It's like, if there was ever a reason to do it before, there's a reason to do it now going ahead. I mean, if they just say, yeah, we're going to roll with Rojas. Yeah, Craig, put him in right. I don't see them doing that. Maybe he'll be mad about it, but who cares? But I don't see them putting him back at short, just because it's like, now you're going down the stretch and now he's got to get back in this rhythm when you've got Miguel Rojas or whichever, capable of playing the position if he holds up there. And if you've got enough utility guys to spell Rojas there, I just don't think that you can do that with Mookie Betts and ask him to go ahead. All right, now you're out of rhythm for 6 to 8 weeks. Go back and get in that rhythm going into the playoffs. But I still think the best setup is Rojas at short and, Mookie Betts at second base. And that's just kind of like in the playoffs and, last couple of weeks going into it, find that rhythm there, find that continuity there, and then go ahead. I think that's the best way to go. And I think that's what they kind of have to do if they don't address the shortstop. But again, we don't know. But I just don't think under any circumstance you can have Mookie Betts go back to short and be like, yeah, I'm okay with it. I just can't. I can't do it, Blake.
I agree with you, but I don't think the Dodgers are going to. I think unless they make a trade, which I'm not sure how likely that is, because of the options available.
Good defensively. Let's not do this. Like, it makes me so mad. Like, he's not good defensively at short. It's stupid. This is just a ridiculous thing. And they're so smart to be in this position. It's just a ridiculous position to be in. And now that he's hurt, he's going to have no reps. He can't work, before these games. He's not getting this extra time. He can't. How can they do this? You say it all the time.
I agree with you fully. Mookie should not be at shortstop, but at the same time, they keep praising the strides he's making at shortstop. They're saying their defensive numbers say he's improving there. Like, they keep backing him up and hyping him up. Like, they're not even just saying like, yeah, he's doing his work, he's out there, he's doing his best. They're like actually going out and saying he's getting better. So I don't know what else they're going to do. Dave did say he's 3 grades better as a shortstop from when he first started, and that their internal numbers are viewing him as improved.
Okay.
All right. I know you can bring him up. Like,
I don't know.
They're wrong.
I'm going to pull up his offense. Anybody can do it. When they going to do it, are they going to do it? I'll pull up his offense. The only you can. What else has changed with Mookie Betts besides him playing shortstop? He's had these times. He's had. I know he's had these. I don't have to convince you. We've done this a bunch, and we're on it. We've, it's not that we're just going to, high five and be like, yeah, we were correct that Mookie Betts at shortstop was a stupid experiment and that it shouldn't. But it's just like, I can't think of anything other than he's playing shortstop, why he's had 2 consecutive months of a full-on drop-off offensively. He went into like, yeah, he's going to the amount of texts that I received and people saying Mookie Betts MVP, all he had to do was maintain like 120 WRC plus and play a competent shortstop, or like, not even 120, but like he could like stay, like be a couple notches above league average and produce at a decent level and have a high OBP, and he was going to cruise his way to an MVP. And like, it's just because he's playing shortstop. But now it's like the questions of, is he run down? Is he this and that? It's just tough. Oh my God. I see this question. Appreciate the super chat. We'll get to that in a sec. That one just made me drop to my knees. Let me get this one. 300. Yeah, we appreciate you. Yeah, I want to get to this. I feel terrible. Appreciate the super chat. Absolute pause to bring this one in. Innings limit with Gavin Stone. Do you think there is? Yeah, is there going to be an innings with him? Do you think there is? I don't think there is.
I think they're going to be cautious with him. Like, he's not going to go out there and throw 220, but
Sure.
I think we'll see them manage his workload, like maybe give him a week or two off in August and then like have him go 5 innings instead of 7 innings kind of stuff. When depending on how their rotation is down the stretch there, like maybe Knack gets a few more starts in place and Stone throws 3 innings instead of 5 even. Like, they'll manage it. So I'm not too worried about it. As long as he stays healthy, he'll be fine.
Yeah. Shout out 300. Appreciate the super chat. Thanks for being here, man. You've been active tonight. So thank you so much. We appreciate these a bunch. That's hilarious. I feel terrible, but yeah, thank you. Thank you. Garmin. Blake, you want to take this one? Because can anybody fix Tim Anderson?
Tim Anderson is Gavin Lux at shortstop, but worse somehow. Like, I don't think there's any fixing Tim Anderson. He is what he is at this point. He can't hit. Yeah. He can't play defense. He's got no power. His speed's regressing. Like, there's not a whole lot about Tim Anderson that you want to go out and get and plug him into your lineup. Like, I'd just stick with Mookie at that point. Stick with Rojas. Call up Trey Sweeney. Like, I know I've been very against Trey Sweeney, like, coming up because I don't think he's ready and I don't think he's the answer. But Tim Anderson is definitely not it anymore. He is beyond washed.
Somebody said it. Somebody said it. Okay. You guys have all seen Space Jam, right? Okay. That's exactly what happened to Tim Anderson.
Wait, the LeBron one or the Jordan one?
Jordan one, the only good one.
I've only seen the LeBron one.
Oh. Anyways, then you stay out of this. Stay out of it. Everybody watching, shout out to the almost 800. Appreciate it. We've all seen the good Space Jam. That's what happened to Tim Anderson. When Jose Ramirez connected with him, that's what happened to Tim Anderson. Down goes Anderson. Like, we all know that's exactly what happened. Like, he lost his juice. He doesn't have it. And like, there was a time when I was even saying, man, like, he was with the White Sox and I was saying, hey, good contract. They need a shortstop. Like, we've seen it. Like, there was a time where I was like, hey, Tim Anderson's a guy that would target. What's up, Brandon? Like, there was a time when I would say, yeah, Tim Anderson's a target, but it's just, he's at such a bottom barrel. It's just, everything is gone, man. Absolutely everything is gone from him. And it's crazy to see, a major league drop off like that. But, he's with the Marlins, right? And it's just, yeah. Like, I just, Garmin, thanks for the super chat. I don't think anybody can fix Tim Anderson. But I mean, it's a tough thing with Mookie, man. It's a tough thing. And I know, I'm going to butcher the name. Brandon's in here. He helped me with the pronunciation the other day. Caballero. Brandon, help me out, bro. From the Rays. I tweeted out. I don't know how to say his name. I'm going to butcher it. Somebody please help me. But from the Rays, their shortstop, if they're able to do that, I just tweeted out as a joke. I think I was talking to Kevin on Twitter. I just sent out a random thing. I was like, watch. They're going to make that trade. They're going to get the Rays shortstop, and they're going to package Randy, and then it's going to feed generations. And it's going to be an out of the blue because I know I heard Jeff. Yeah, Caballero. Yep. Thank you, Justin. Yeah. Caballero. Thank you, Matty, man. I know I'm the worst. I wanted to have that locked in before I brought him up. I know. What's up, Kevin? Down away. TQT. What's up, bro? But like, at least I'm okay enough to admit it. But I think that's somebody. I know Jeff was like, yeah, we're going to trade for some random under the radar shortstop. I think Matt might've said that. And I agree. Like, if they do it, it'll be something out of nowhere, but he's actually like a guy, like, he's somebody with team control. And if they wanted to lock it in at like a cost controlled thing, you can go over there and see if you could do business with the Rays again. Yeah, Matty, man, whatever, dude. But
what Scott isn't telling you is I tore down his dreams about that trade as he's running a 500 BABIP and a 40% strikeout rate against lefties.
Whatever. Whatever. Look at the market. Who's on the market? You comfortable giving? Are you going to give Willy Adames huge money?
Yes. It's not my money.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm with you. But I feel like Friedman's not going to bid up with that. Like, if they want to just continuously just push somebody farther away, that's an avenue they'll go. I don't know. Somebody random. But I would love just Randy, slot him in there and just set it and forget it. CJ Abrams, yeah, no, it's just not going to happen. I know people talk about it, but that's just the thing that's just absolutely not going to happen. He's a superstar, man.
No chance of that one unless you're giving up like a crazy package with Gavin Stone, Bobby Miller, plus.
Yeah. Okay. I want you to do me a favor. We're going to shift gears a bit. I really want to talk about Clayton Kershaw. I really want to talk about him. We're going to pop this up. You made the trip, and there was a lot of positive stuff that came from there. What are some things you saw from him? He had his outing. He threw 36 pitches, 3 innings. What are some things you saw from Clayton, buddy?
Well, he had his strikeout stuff working, encouraging. He had 5 strikeouts in 3 innings. He was throwing strikes. 26 of his 36 pitches were strikes, and Kershaw said after that surprised him. He didn't expect to throw that many. He mixed in all his pitches, including his 2-seam, his changeup, and Kershaw said he felt good. His curveball looked good. 3 of his strikeouts were on the curveball. Kershaw said it felt fine, being humble about it, but he was making the minor leaguers look a little silly with it. He did give up 2 hits. One of them was a triple, which I think was benefited a bit from the minor league defense out there, and then a sac fly to allow the run to score. But, I mean, overall, it was really encouraging for a first outing after he's been out for so long, dealing with this injury for so long. I mean, it was encouraging. I don't think you could ask for a lot more from his first rehab start. He said he felt good after it. His next step is going to be determined based on how he felt today. So we haven't heard about that yet, but no news is probably good news regarding him. So, I mean, seems like he's lined up to start again, maybe in a week or so, 5-6 days. They go from there. So, I mean, he's progressing. He could be back in middle of July, maybe. It's encouraging.
Yeah. I mean, what's your, I loved what I saw from him. I know I was at work during that, and I just really wanted to check in with you. He was pounding the strike zone. So, he had 5 strikeouts. I was encouraged. It made me laugh that, he took a pitch clock violation and just pitched to another hitter because he just wanted to get a little extra thing in there. It was good. 2 scoreless frames. He came out after that first inning. So it's just really, I'm really encouraged by it. We obviously, nobody could give an accurate, guess on what Clayton Kershaw was going to be post-surgery, just because of how delicate this was. He checked off a lot of boxes, just like he said. And I'm excited for him. It's easy to be, to have, kind of kitty gloves when evaluating Clayton Kershaw, just because of how much he means to everybody. And what he can be at his peak. It's just a matter of, is that stuff going to be there? Is it going to be impactful to the point that you're going to be comfortable, slotting him in, really, looking down the stretch and saying, is this a playoff performer? And that's just stuff we have to see over time. But just to see him have a really good first step. And from his point, he sounds very encouraged by it, because Clayton Kershaw is a very honest guy. If he doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. And he's going to let you know. And this seems like, Clayton feels like, he feels as good as he can be. You agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, for this point in his rehab, I definitely think so.
Yeah.
He looked normal, and I think that's about the best thing you can say about him at this point. No major concerns. There wasn't a huge velo drop. I didn't see all his pitches, but he seemed to be sitting around the 88 to 90 range. So, I mean, that's where he was last year when he was pitching well. So as long as he can stay around that area, maybe we can have some optimism for him, because I know I was not optimistic at the beginning of the year with him coming back from a shoulder surgery, but he's progressed so well. It's been really encouraging.
Yeah. And I don't think I don't blame you for that at all. I mean, I don't think anybody, it's just people that were overly optimistic, saying no matter what, he's Iron Man, he'll figure it out. But it's fair to say that, he's, late in his career, tons of mileage on that arm, tons of mileage on the body. He's had back stuff, and this was the first thing where you really got to raise your eyebrows and say, does he make it back? Is he have enough left in the tank where, this rehab is to everything, even it's surprised Dave Roberts. David said about Kershaw that he's farther along than we even thought. And for the stuff to be this sharp, we're mixing in this many pitches, kind of showcasing his complete arsenal right now is, probably Clayton maybe wanted to even prove to himself that he's got it and he can perform as good as he feels, which is doubly encouraging. And that's something that I'm super excited to see. And I think that everybody, maybe it's time to get some expectations going and have that talk. But definitely with him coming away, all smiles. It's something that I'm encouraged about Clayton Kershaw. And, we could see him. What was your timeline again? Where do you think we could see him? August?
Middle of July.
Well, middle of July. So that's
right after the All-Star break there.
That feels like Yeah, that feels like a really solid timeline. Like that for me is way earlier. And even, a lot of people we saw in chat for the last, people have been fanning that flame that they might not see him for the rest of the season. And that was just a feel good contract. And just, if we'll sign you and see if you even have a chance to make it back. Now it's getting to the point where, if he continues this run, we're going to get to, have a couple months here where Clayton Kershaw is going to have an impact on the regular season. And then we can start having the conversation, for the postseason.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's all we can hope from him. If he can come back and make a postseason start and he actually earns that and he's good enough to be in the rotation, I mean, it's just going to make the Dodgers that much better, especially when we talk about we don't know what Yamamoto is going to provide at this point, if he's even going to be back. So the more options you can have, the better. When you have an option as good as Clayton Kershaw potentially coming back, I think that's even more encouraging. It's exciting to see him come back as this team has a chance to win a World Series, and if he can really contribute to them again and then maybe retire on a World Series win, pitch another year after that as an effective starter all year, like it'll be nice to see. He's done so much for the franchise. And I mean, I'll also throw this out. We have a ton of content up on Kershaw now and more to come. So you can go check out our Twitter for the coverage I had. You can go on YouTube for our interview with Kershaw and his start video from that. And then I threw up some photos on Instagram. So it's going to be more to come too.
Yeah, absolutely. So plus stuff there, plus. It's good to have that. It's good to see him coming back. Bobby Miller. I just want to get your quick thoughts on that as we just wrap up our recap of the last few days, wrap up our recap of the, the Colorado Rockies series. Real fast, some things from Bobby Miller. Anything jump out to you a bit? Or that was just kind of your first, it was a tough, I pegged it as that it was a tough ask for him to make his debut coming back from some shoulder inflammation in Colorado. Is there anything that jumped out at you about Bobby?
So I'll start this. I didn't get to watch his game because I was in Rancho. Kershaw stuff. Matt was covering the game. Yep. But, I mean, he had his struggles in AAA, so that was a little concerning. The Dodgers kind of brushed it off as like he doesn't have his adrenaline, stuff like that. Like, you go on a rehab assignment to get back to being ready to pitch, build up your arm, make sure your pitches are working. It's not about the results there. I think they kind of gave him a tough landing spot in Coors Field. So I'm not putting too much focus on it for a start back. Like, we'll see from his next start if he can kind of be better or he has some more struggles. And then I think we'll be more willing to talk about if something's going on with Bobby Miller. But I'm not putting in a whole lot of focus into one start at Coors Field as first start off the IL.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought that was, I know Jeff, he put up some of the Savant numbers from his stuff. And I read that, he tossed a ton of changeups and his changeup was good. His changeup was good prior injury. And I'm glad that he really showcased that. So that just shows that he's really getting that arm action in there. So I was encouraged what I saw from the changeup. But he didn't get one whiff on his fastball. Do you think there's any noise about that? Or you think that's just, first start stuff? He wasn't really a big whiff guy on his fastball anyways. But do you think there's anything to that at all? Or just we'll see how that goes and monitor going forward?
Maybe. I think there's a little concern, at least, like it's something you can keep in the back of your mind. But
yeah,
I mean, I want to see him make more starts before I really start to judge him. He said, 4 starts total throughout the year, and 3 of them were 2 months ago. Like, I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock in anything until we see a little more from him.
Okay. Right on. I'm with you. All right. I got to pull this up. Everybody, my daughter's watching. This one's for Blake. I'm going to let him answer it. Will Mookie Betts be okay? Because it looked pretty bad when he got hurt the other day. He did 3 somersaults. She's commenting off my girlfriend's phone. So be cool with the spelling. Blake?
Yeah. He'll be okay. He was in a lot of pain and his hand kind of felt numb after he got hit, but he'll be okay. Hitters have dealt with that kind of injury before, and he'll come back in 2 months, something, 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, we'll see Mookie again this year, and he'll be hitting home runs again and doing Mookie Betts things.
Thank you, Nora. Thanks for the question. Appreciate
Marcus
it.
Bestie stuff.
Marcus Bestie stuff. Right on. All right. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, my daughter's watching. She's everybody's biggest fan. She loves the chat. She's been watching, laughing. So the Dodgers are debuting their City Connect jerseys, and this is a hotbed thing. This is why we're here, Blake. This is why we're here. This is why we're talking about the show tonight, because the Dodgers got Pop-Tarts on their jerseys, and they're debuting them this week. I know you told me that you liked one of the sweatshirts, and you might be a fan. I want you to sell me on these jerseys if you can.
I like the sweatshirt. That's the navy blue with the white sleeves down it and pretty simple design. Not a huge fan of their City Connect jerseys. I mean, I think there's a building block there that they can make the jerseys better. I just feel like they fell short on all of the execution points of it. Like, maybe they try little stars instead of just speckles if they're going for a star theme. I think that might have worked a little better. Yeah. I don't like the numbers below, or the names below the numbers on the back of the jersey. That just looks really weird to me. I can't buy into that at all. I don't like the numbers on the shoulder on the front of the jersey. Like, just put it below like the Dodgers normally do, or something. Like, they just look so weird and out of place there. I mean, I think if you made those changes, you're probably looking at an okay jersey. It's just they didn't do that, and it just looks like hurried and incomplete and random. So I think it's really telling that we saw the jerseys before that they came out, and no one could figure out what anything represented. Like, it's supposed to be connecting the Dodgers to the city, and no one living in the city knew what it was about.
Yeah.
Like, what is with that? It's just, Nike has been a disaster with all their design stuff from the NFL to MLB, just everything they're doing. I can't get behind Nike. Every NFL jersey looks exactly the same with different colors now. Like, they've taken out all design aspects that Adidas and other companies had. So I just, Nike.
Before I forget, did anybody notice that that Jason Hayward immediately was in favor of the Nike jerseys, and he's the one who's on the bobblehead for the City Connect jerseys? Anybody catch that? That I was like, okay, this is like this has to be a setup, because he's probably the one that's like, yeah, I love these things, man.
I think he's a Nike athlete, isn't he?
Yeah, sure. I think so. But it's just it actually made me laugh. I was like, okay, they're just giving their hand. And I don't even know, were the sprinkles even on the bobblehead? I don't know. I couldn't see.
The Photoshop that they had didn't have them, but we'll see on the actual bobblehead.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's saying that. Yeah, I think he's a Nike athlete. If that's it, then it's just an easy thing, because like, you got to believe, like, what are they doing with these numbers, man? Like, I don't know. Yeah. But like, I think Brandon pulled it up. Where are you at, man? I got to pull this up. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, they try to connect to the city. It's just like the message, like when you read the explanation of it, like they did all the things. And if you look at it, and if they did a better job, I know I'm with you. Yeah, terrible execution. Like it felt like a random thing. And they had it right there in front of them. They could have just gone with a light blue, like a sky blue, and just been cool. And everybody would have loved it. I know I put out like a Reddit concept that somebody put up from a couple years ago, and it was incredible, but Is it the worst City Connect out there, or they're worse? I gotta know.
I think the Giants might have the worst one. They tried to do that smoke design, and it just looked awful. I don't like it at all. I don't think it has any saving grace. I see the Padres one is getting roasted here, but those are my favorite. I don't think they're that bad. Yeah, Roy. I don't think they're that great. Bad. Like, those are fun. I mean, they're supposed to be different and a little crazy. Like, I like the Padre ones, so I think the Nationals have good ones.
They took those away, the old ones. They don't have them anymore, I don't think. Yeah. Oh, the new ones you like?
The gray with the flowers on them.
They don't have those anymore. They changed them.
Oh, okay. Well,
he said, "Oh, I think the Rays ones are the best ones."
I like the Rays. I'm still giving the Padres the lead there. I mean, I like the bright color ones, and when they try different things. I don't even hate the colors of the Dodger ones. Like, I like that they tried to do something different. It's just they didn't do it different well enough.
Yep. Yeah, Howie, man, I'm with you. Yeah, beach and palm trees. It would have made so much sense. Yeah, the one I put out there was right in front of them. It was absolutely right in front of them. But we also saw they got kind of testy. Like the article the LA Times put out, like you could see, like they were designing, like people were shoving down their throat, like all the things that the Dodgers could do, and like. It's just, they had it right in front of them. It felt like they just let it slip, and they just went a direction. That's just kind of how it went.
Matty Man threw up another comment. I can't stand the single-digit numbers having the 0 in front of it.
Does anybody know what's going on with that?
I don't know. It just looks awful. Freddie Freeman is not 0-5. He's 5. I didn't even think of all the other players. Like, we're going to get 0-9 for Gavin Lux. I mean, Good thing that I just don't have many single-digit numbers. A lot of them are retired. I think we're going to get a Biggio 06, a CT 03.
It's just not. It ain't it, man. That's gonna be something. Right on. Yeah, CT 03. Crazy, man. It's like, all right. I think we're gonna open it to some questions. This was, we had nothing crazy to go. We had no everybody. You guys are usually here. Anybody in this? There's nothing too hyped about, right now. Nothing to complain about. Nothing to critique. This is just kind of ho-hum week. They performed. They did what they had to do.
We did get a question from earlier. I'll throw it up. Is Muncy dead? No, he is not. I've seen him walking through the clubhouse in the hallways at Dodger Stadium. He has also done some minor workouts, but nothing rotational. He's not able to twist his body right now, so that means no swings, no workouts with that involved. So, yeah, he's doing very minor things, but he is alive.
Cool. All right. This time, guys. Whatever you got. No, I don't care the question. Toss it in. Doesn't matter how wild. If there's anything, if you meet your wildest take, if your wildest take for right now, and see if something we co-sign or if it's something crazy, give me something, and then we'll go from there. We're gonna open up the questions. We hit the hour mark. Shout out to almost 900 people in here. We appreciate you. Blake and I, absolutely. We say this every single week. We come on here to hang out with you guys. Just two dudes, just chatting ball, and that's why we love it. So we appreciate you a ton. We got a couple super chats to get to, by the way.
We do. So let's do this one real quick because I threw it up and it's way up at the top, and then we'll get to those two super chats.
Pies is hitting. Vargas is hitting. Jay Hay. What happens to Outman? I mean, it just feels what, bless you, Blake. What do you think, man? Like people are saying he kind of feels like the odd man out. Like as long as Pies is playing well, and Jay Hay's up there, like Outman, he's the type of guy that I don't feel comfortable with his type of profile coming off the bench, like hitting profile coming off the bench, and then need a one at bat type of thing. That's just for me though. Do you buy into what he's doing at AAA right now?
Somewhat. I'm always skeptical of AAA because it's such an offensive environment. Like anyone can go put up great numbers there, and we've seen it a ton where players are raking in AAA and then they come up and they don't do well at the majors. AAA is like hitting at Coors Field all the time in the PCL. So, I mean, he's taking better at bats, I guess, and that's all you can really ask from him right now. He's making contact with the ball and hitting it hard, but we'll have to see. I mean, I don't know what to make of James Outman at this point. Yeah. Like, I don't think he's what he was last year, and I don't think he's as bad as he was this year. So maybe he's like a fourth outfielder moving forward who you give him starts versus righties and let him play defense out there for you, and that's kind of what he is. Maybe he takes over Jason Hayward's role next year as the starter versus righties in the short side of a platoon or the big side of a platoon. So I just don't know what they're going to do with him necessarily at this point this year.
So I don't know if they played today, but this month in AAA, he's got an 81 WRC plus. 764 OPS. Thoughts, Blake?
I mean, not great.
Not great. He had a crazy start, though. Yeah, he's got 3 homers, 8 RB this month. I don't know if he played today. Things might have changed. So don't nobody get on me on that. I went straight to Fangraphs. Sorry about it. But I don't really buy into a lot of stuff. Outman came up. Everybody forgets that Outman came up as a big glove guy, and his bat kind of was a breakout for a bit, and that's what got him the call. So it's not super uncommon to see him take this step back. And so that's why I'm not a big believer in him. He's 27. I'm not a big believer in what he's going to do long term. I don't really factor him in too much into the plans. If I'm wrong, whichever. But I really don't think that he's a pre-arb guy that's valuable to another team that needs an outfielder. Whether the Dodgers believe in it, they might, but I think Andy Pies can stick in center field, and with that going forward. We're going to fire through some questions here, so appreciate it. Thanks for that one there. But let's get through these super chats real quick. John, appreciate you, man, every single time. John, shout out to you, dude. You're in here consistently every single time on Thursdays, showing out support for us. So Blake and I really appreciate this. Everybody at Dodger Blue appreciates this, but we'll get to yours real quick. Team is best with Rojas at short, Mookie at second or right field. I agree. I think everybody in here agrees with that. I think that, if we're watching Rojas, we know the floor we're going to get with him at shortstop defensively. We know what we're going to get offensively. You're going to get a bat to ball guy, someone who's not going to go up there and give away at bats. So in itself is valuable. So with Mookie Betts at second place, for me, it's just about getting him back to the original plan. And that's something that I just have been unable to get away from, when factoring in any plans. If you ask me about Gavin Lux, it doesn't matter what he does offensively or, what he's doing with the glove. It has everything to do with, is his production enough to outweigh, the effect that it's having on Mookie Betts. But to your last thing about right field, I don't think they would have, made the decision to shuffle him to second base and commit to that going into the season if they were ever just going to toss it back out there. I really just think that was a move for longevity, which is why I thought it was so uncharacteristic for them to be like, okay, they had to have really been panic button if they were going to say, yeah, we're going to toss Mookie into the toughest position on the field, outside of like catcher or maybe first base in some aspects to learn and toss him at shortstop right before the season. So it was a very dire situation. So that's why, it's all trickle down. So John, appreciate that. Blake, anything left on that real quick?
I think I agree with a lot of what you said. I think the team is best with Rojas at short and Mookie at second. I just think the Dodgers are going to stick with Lux at second and Mookie at short until they have to make a change, out of necessity. I just don't really see them changing going into the playoffs or anything unless they make a trade.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, John, we got one more from you. Again, guys, we'll stay on here as long as you've got questions. We'll do our best to answer them as much as best we can. Dustin May begin a throwing program on Wednesday, Blake?
I believe he began it a week or two ago.
It's been a bit. Yeah.
He's throwing bullpen sessions, and he's been reaching the 90 mile per hour mark with his fastball, I think above 90. So, he's making progress. The Dodgers haven't decided if he's going to be a starter or a reliever when he comes back. That's going to be kind of based on how he's able to build up and what the team needs are at the moment. But Dustin May does seem like he could be an option at some point this year, and he is going through a throwing program.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just saw that too. I was like, I think it began a couple weeks ago because they put some stuff out there. So it's good. So I don't know when we'll see him again. I think that the best plan would be just to see what he could do as a reliever in those short stints and see what they can get out of him this year and then start to expand it, because it's not, I don't know if he has as much of a runway to really get stretched out as much. All right. Where's Joe Kelly? I miss baby Joe. I miss him, but I don't miss him having blow up stuff. So where's Joe, Blake?
Somewhere in Southern California. That's what we know about him. I don't think he's going to be back anytime soon. I don't think he started a throwing program or anything yet. Let me pull this up real quick and see if we have anything on him. But him and Brazier are going to be out for a bit. Oh, Joe Kelly was placed on the 60-day a few days ago.
Yeah.
That was I thought it was Brazier for a minute, but yeah, it was Joe Kelly. He's still got the shoulder strain going. And the last update from Dave Roberts is that both of them are weeks away from a return, and that was the beginning of June. But they haven't really made much progress since then.
Yeah, he's been out for a pretty darn good bit. I think since early May, right?
Yeah, Kelly is playing catch. That's all he's doing right now.
Yeah. Okay. So we can kind of, it's not going to be, it won't be anytime soon. So, and again, it's pretty remarkable to see what the pen has done with the amount of guys that they, could have been in there. Kyle Hurt, I really like what he's doing. I know he'll be back, but it's again, to the bullpen, like Kyle Hurt, Joe Kelly, Michael Grove's out. He was on a pretty solid run. Bruce R wasn't there. Brian Brazier. So it's a lot of patchwork stuff, and they're just getting consistent production there. So Joe Kelly being out, it's it's just been a long time. I haven't even seen him. It's one of those I'm just forgetting about. You look at the names down the list of the players who have been out. That's just one of those things. Let's pull this up. My goodness. Ooh.
Here, we got 2 super chats, so let's get to them real quick.
Cool. Long-term fix is short. There's nothing that they can, unless they go out and get Adames and then that's who they retain. That's the only long-term fix. But if you're asking, Max, thanks for the super chat. I know Blake and I have been kind of aligned on Adames, but that's an off-season thing. He's going to test free agency, I believe, no matter what. And that's someone we'd like to get within the organization. People talk about Bo Bichette, bringing him in, and I think he has one more year after this. So that's an option where it's they've done that before. You bring somebody in and then you have an extra year That's what they did with Trey Turner. You brought him in. He was, MVP caliber player. You had get him for the back end of that thing, and then you have him for another year. So you get an entire thing of, evaluation, another year of evaluation. Blake, do you have anybody off top besides Adames that you long-term fix? It's just a hard thing. That's why it's so tough. It's just, they didn't miss the wave because I think we're comfortable aside from Seager. Don't talk about him. Are you comfortable kind of where you're at, or this make you like an uneasy period because of how little there is, like, and how much competition there will be with the shortstop free agent market?
Makes me a little uneasy. Emil Morales might be the best long-term option, but he's probably 3 or 4 years away, if not longer. I believe he's 19 or 18. He was one of their international signings, so he's got a ways to go before he's an option, but got a ton of potential there. They might just kind of have to find fillers in the meantime until they can figure out that long-term spot, because there isn't a lot of options. I would love to see them go get Willy Adames, but they're going to have a tough market for him too. I'm not sure they're going to be willing to pay that much after signing Ohtani and Yamamoto and Glasnow this offseason. So I don't know what the answer is. They'll try and find someone, but no one off the top of my head really comes to mind.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that's why it's like, they need, that's just what for me, it's more so that I think they need to be aggressive on the shortstop front, not just because I want to get Mookie out of there. It's because the market is really bare. And there's no big names, aside from a couple. It's just none of these guys you're handing out. I'm not a big Ha-Seong Kim guy. That's just a name I want them to stay away from big time. I don't buy into what he is. I know he's terrific defensively. He's got some offensive upside, but I do not want them to give him a contract. That just feels like someone that could be a big, a money sink, and then everybody will be upset. And then we'll get back to the thing. And Blake texting me at 3 a.m. Why is Seager not a Dodger type of thing? So it's a bleak outlook there. It's the same. You could talk about the outfield market too. That's why I'm just so big on they need to retain Teoscar. It's another reason why shortstop, it makes me super uneasy. So Max, thanks for the super chat on that one. All right. Garmin, appreciate it again. Thank you so much for the support. Can Outman and Lux be traded for anything? What about Rosarena? I'm only half kidding. I mean, which part are you kidding about? I mean, if you're kidding about can Lux and Gavin Lux and Outman be traded? I mean, sure. There's value in having those arbitration eligible contracts, or those pre-arbor contracts, James Outman especially. So, there is value there if teams need that, but there's enough data out there on those players where it's you'd be hard pressed to get someone, big time for it. I mean, if it's for Rosarena, I mean, he's been a major league player for a bit, and teams don't really like to give up stuff. You're going to have to give up a little bit more for Randy or Rosarena. Yeah, agreed on Kim. Yeah, but Blake, where are you at on Outman and Lux, trade value wise?
I think if you're trading them right now, you're probably getting 50 cents on the dollar of what their trade value might be. I'm not sure the Dodgers would be willing to do that, but I'm also not sure what their long-term outlook on these guys is. So maybe it's best just moving them. I think there's going to be some teams that value both these guys, whether it's two different teams or the same team, getting them in, seeing if a fresh start helps. Mm-hmm. Buying on a cheap player essentially, but I mean, you're not going to get any key players back for either of them. I don't think. They're either going to be more pieces in a big deal that you're parting with some other prospects as well, or maybe you do a major league trade where you're flipping Lux for a shortstop with a year of control or something. I don't even think there's any shortstops that make sense with, but just that kind of thing where you're going out there and flipping a major leaguer for a major leaguer. One of those baseball trades, buying a struggling player for another struggling player type stuff. So
yeah,
they have a market. It's just they have to match up with the team to actually find it. For sure.
New change of scenery type thing. I'm with you. It's going to be one of those, but it's those situations right now are it's slim. That's why those things don't, it rarely happens. And sometimes, you kind of see a push and some player just thrives in a new organization. So that's why I think that, the Dodgers are kind of shy away from going too big and spending too much on the trade market right now. And they'll just kind of try to address it, maybe on the high, the big end names, maybe in the off season, and then go from there. But that's why I'm trying to look for somebody. I just don't see the market. I don't know if they'll really bid for Willy Adames. It's just the Dodgers aren't really handing out big contracts to mid players, long-term commitment stuff. It's not like Scott Kazmir, Brandon McCarthy era where they're doing that anymore. So it's I'd really have to see them go after somebody with arbitration years and maybe overpay on the on the prospect front, and then get somebody in there where they can, still have a pretty cheap runway and go from there. Man, we've got a lot. Blake, how much are you starring? We got a lot of questions. Guys, thank you so much. This is crazy. Got a lot of questions to get to. We'll go here. Is there time to rally and get Will to the All-Star game? It's a travesty. It is. Absolutely. It's possible. Definitely. Like, you're going to carry 2 catchers on the National League roster. So I think, is he third? I believe last time, like the first thing that came out, he was third. So we'll see what Real Muto has because he's out. So like, that's going to be your number 2. So theoretically, I think he's in the second spot with Real Muto being out, because I think he was number 2, right?
He was behind Real Muto by about 700 votes. So
yeah. So I think he'll be
definitely make a push.
So he'll make a push for sure. Yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, absolutely. I think Will Smith will get in there. I think he's an all-star. He's deserved it. He's just kind of when he's in a slump, you don't really know about it, but when he's going crazy, it just feels like a whole hum. But he's been, again, terrific. What's up, Bob? Thanks, Bob. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to you, man.
I had to throw that one up real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a dog. He never sleeps. He's always working. Roger, with all the injuries, who do you think the 4 starting pitchers in the playoffs are going to be? Blake?
I think they're going to have a 5-man rotation for the playoffs that cuts down from the 6-man that they're currently running with. I'm going to say Glass now. I'm going to hope Yamamoto's back, so I'm putting him in there. I'm putting in Stone, putting in Miller, and then whoever is better between Kershaw and Buehler.
Who do you like, man? Answer me the last one. Who do you have more faith in?
Kershaw's probably the guy, because Kershaw knows how to pitch. Like, if he doesn't have his great stuff, I think he can still be effective. Whereas Buehler, we have seen he doesn't know how to pitch as much, and without his best stuff, he's been not good. So I'm going to lean toward Kershaw on that one.
Yeah, I'm with you. Crazy to think about that, right? Like, looking at Kershaw, it's just like, without seeing him on the field at all, for anyone to say, what do you think from Kershaw? It's just like, you got me. Hell if I know. Like, I have no idea. Like, we have no clue. Same thing with Buehler. We're going to believe in his compete. We're going to believe in him to go out there and, battle. But until we see something on field, like, once we see Kershaw to start creeping to the higher levels, what he's doing at AAA, then we can really start having the conversation, like how the stuff's playing there. Like, if he's getting battled, like, racked around in AAA, we'll have a different conversation. And if the stuff looks good, but I'm with you. Like, he's going to have I think a major league caliber slider no matter what he does. And it's going to be, interesting. So I really didn't, expect that. Let me see. No, Blake, I don't want to skip. We're going to see if we can go through a bunch of these. People took the time. We almost got 1,000 people in here. We're going to take the time. Likelihood JT, you want to go with that one? No, go ahead.
No.
Likelihood JT is our next manager. I don't think so. Zero.
It's always catchers who are managers.
Russell Martin back, baby.
AJ Ellis, anyone?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm a no there. How about Rod Barajas?
Rod Barajas.
Real throwback there.
That's a good one.
I think Dave's job is pretty safe. I mean, I don't think people want to hear that, but his job is pretty safe.
Let's see here. Put up the one you had.
So we had a few of these asking about exclusive interviews. Ohtani only does exclusives with Japanese publications, and he's very picky about them. So don't think that's going to happen.
He's not going to interview me. Like, if I butcher a name, we had somebody told me to hop off the stream because I butchered one name. Get over yourselves. Like, yeah.
Miguel Rojas and Max Muncy here. We can invite them. If Scott wants to host one with them, I'll ask them next time I'm at the stadium and can try and make something happen. I'm not sure if they'll agree to it, but we can definitely work on it.
We'll try to get Max. We'll see. And we'll reach out. We'll see what we could do.
He's got some time right now.
We'll see what we could do. Max is a laid-back guy. Like, Max is a very laid-back guy. He had a pretty good interview. I know he spoke with DV. I was listening to that on the radio. He was talking about, a lot of stuff about how it's hard, like, when you're injured, it's hard to feel a part of the team. And it was funny because they were like, well, Max, how are you helping out some of these guys? And Max was saying that, he's trying to offer any advice. And he goes, I don't know if I'm doing absolutely anything. It feels like I'm doing nothing. So you can ask Max. It's probably tough position he's at, but he's very gracious with his time. He's a super candid interview, and he comes off as like such a, a tough dude, but like, he's always gracious with his time when speaking and doing interviews. So, I mean, maybe we'll reach out.
Miguel Rojas is too. You ask him 2 questions and he talks for 10 minutes. And then some of the other guys on the team, you ask them 10 questions and they talk for 2 minutes. So that's always kind of the funny stuff for me. Rojas loves to talk. So hopefully he would agree to it.
Yeah. Matty, man, thank you, dude. Like we hope we're trying, Blake and I are doing our thing out here. And we feel like we've got a pretty solid platform and a pretty solid base, with people that come in and tune in, that it feels like, people would tune in. Like that's something that, Max would be down to do. Absolutely. All right, let's see. Crochet or Sears? I don't think either one, man. Like if that's just, I don't know. Blake, do you buy in any of that? Do you think they need a frontline guy?
It depends how Yamamoto does. I think they would make a push for Crochet if Yamamoto is going to be out for the year. If they predict him to come back and be healthy, I don't think they're going to get a starter. But, I mean, I would love to go get Crochet. He's amazing, and you could throw him into your bullpen if you need to with the innings limit and stuff. I think they could manage his innings enough where it wouldn't really matter about the innings limit, but he's a really talented arm.
Let me see. What do we got? Pick one for me, Blake.
Do we take a flyer and try out Vargas at third? No, that is long gone. I think there's another one here about Vargas. Any chance he sees reps at second base? I've been pushing for it. I don't think Lux is the answer there. I think Vargas is a better bat. If you take that defensive hit, I think it would be worth it. I mean, Vargas has looked really good since he's come back up, and it's been a limited sample size, but I have a lot of confidence in him. I think the Dodgers believe in his bat a lot. It's just about finding that defensive position for him. And Dave Roberts kind of admitted that the last time they optioned him, they said, like, Dave was pretty much bluntly saying he needs to go work on his defense. So that's the only reason I don't think he's in an everyday role right now. But for me personally, if I was starting the lineup, I'm taking his bat every single day and figuring out the defense and not really worrying about it. Just let him run out there wherever you have to put him.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. It was left field. He's been playing there for the better part of the year, going into last year as well. I feel like it's just, they're really not into trying to move him around. They're trying to find some longevity for him, trying to find somewhere where he can stick, because Max Muncy's the option for the next few years at third base. It's just something that if he's been doing that for a bit, and it's best to just not rock the boat. So I'm with it. Definitely.
Keep this one real quick. From Bob, I thought the squid ink chips were chocolate. I did. That was. If you want to go find that video, if you have.
My bad.
Yeah,
sorry.
I ate one live on stream. I thought it was chocolate. It was squid. It caught me very off guard. That was when I was in Korea. So if you want to go find that stream, you can go back and watch from around that time.
Yeah, I gotta check that one out here. Noisy Ninja. What does the daughter think of City Connects? I haven't showed her yet. I really haven't shown her the jerseys yet. I'll do that. Hopefully she'll be in bed soon. It's summertime. I told her she can stay up a little bit late, but she needs to get it. I'll tell her. I'm going to tell her. I'm going to approach her like this. Nora, the Dodgers put Pop-Tarts on their jerseys. What are your thoughts?
She's asking questions. So
Nora's asking questions. Blake, I'll let you answer this. Blake, who's your MVP? Who's your Dodgers MVP up to this point?
I think it's Ohtani. I think that's a safe answer there. I mean, he's been amazing. He's hitting. He's doing everything they wanted from him. I think it would have been Mookie before his injury, but with the injury, it's kind of pushing him down a bit now. I mean, we talk about how not good Mookie has been at shortstop so far, but being competent enough there and just stepping up and doing it when it wasn't really expected, like, I don't think the Dodgers would have been able to be this good with Gavin Lux at shortstop, and they weren't going to play Rojas in an everyday role to begin the season. So I think Mookie gets a lot of credit there for doing it and holding it down somewhat. And
yeah,
I mean, I'll throw Will Smith in there too, giving a lot of MVP awards out, but he's stepped up a lot this year, and a ton of credit to him. He's been great.
And an unsung hero. I'm going to keep saying it. Gavin Stone, unsung hero of the team. They need those secondary options.
Pitchers can't win MVP.
Yeah, I know. That's not true though. We've seen it. All right, we got a lot. We got to fire through him. But Garmin's been a dog. He's been a dog. Oh my God. Sorry, bro. Keep pulling this one up. Yeah, appreciate you. Todd, my brother's name's Todd. Appreciate you a ton. Yeah, thanks for all your efforts. Really enjoy all of you. Yeah, I mean, Blake and I, just like I said, we hopped on here. got Blake to join these videos, last year, and Blake's been awesome, wealth of knowledge. So I appreciate it. I learn from Blake all the time. I appreciate his cool, his demeanor on a lot of stuff. And I lean on it when trying to, reel me back in on some takes that are, stuff that I'm looking a little too outside the box, and stuff that he can keep me honest on, that it's okay to look at stuff, not so, crazy perspective, and keep things really close to the vest and understand kind of how the Dodgers front office is operated. So I appreciate it. That's for you to say we're the faves. We appreciate that a bunch. So thanks for your support. Thanks for your super chats. Thanks for being here. We got about 1,000 in here right now. So, thanks to everybody. We got a lot. We're staying on here. We're going to run it probably 2 hours. If we keep getting all these questions. Could we see River Ryan, Roy, Blake? Are we going to see River Ryan? He just got promoted to AAA, correct?
I think he's been on his rehab assignment and building up. I'm not sure where they exactly have him right now, but we have an interview Jeff did with Rob Hill. He's the Dodger pitching coordinator, and Jeff asked him about this, and Rob Hill basically talked about how amazing River Ryan is and just went on about him for 5 minutes, talking about how much potential he has. And he said, yeah, he could be a possibility at some point in this year. Obviously, it depends on the health of the Dodgers pitchers and all that. But, I mean, River Ryan seems like a very exciting prospect, and they have a lot of faith in him. So wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, that's right. He was with AAA last year, and they just, to your point. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm with you. He's a big arm. He's a really big arm. He's good stuff there. I'm excited to see him. It just goes, to how many different arms in AAA we have. And we're going to see another somebody you love, Landon Knack. We're going to see him this weekend. Give me 2 thoughts on Landon Knack real quick for me, buddy.
Got my Landon Knack jersey hanging right there. So my guy, he's a pitcher. That's all I can really say about him. He throws strikes. He doesn't have the best stuff, but he's going to be an effective starter with his command and the movement on his pitches. And he just knows how to pitch. Position players always get called a baseball player when you just want to compliment them. Landon Knack is a pitcher. That's the best compliment I can give him.
Here we go. I'm with you. Let's see. Now or next year? Rapid fire.
So Lipsius, I can't really rapid fire this one. He's as ready as he's gonna be. He can't play defense, which is holding him back. He's Lux at shortstop level defense, Miguel Vargas level defense. That's why he's not getting a chance. The bat, it's probably more of a quad A type player than a major league player. He's not much of a prospect. He's kind of just a guy. He was DFA'd by the Tigers earlier this year, and the Dodgers got him for cash considerations. His organizational depth, he's been good. There's a little offensive upside there, but he's probably a bench bat long term that can't really play defense, so that's keeping him in the minors.
Okay.
Biggest
give me
need at
three.
the trade deadline.
Just give me 3. Give me 3. Order them 1, 2, 3.
Shortstop number 1, outfield number 2. I think Muncy is going to come back, so I don't really want to put third base on there. I'll say a bench bat. Just any kind of bench bat to get Kike or Biggio or both off the team. I think they have enough versatility to make it work. Bullpen's always nice, but it's hard to say the bullpen's in need with how good they've been and potentially getting a few guys back later in the year. If starting pitching, if another guy gets hurt, that would probably move to my number 1 or number 2 spot. But right now, I just don't see a huge need for a starter.
Yeah. And real quick, Irina, thanks for the question. Yeah. Yohan's been fine. He's been fine. He's an innings guy. We're talking about his 3rd team this year. This is the 2nd time in 3 years he's been on 3 teams. Last year he was on 2. He's just a guy who's come in. Dodgers have he's got good stuff. He's going to get hit, but he's come into games. He's extended some stuff. He's looked fine. He's not going to be spectacular. He's going to get hit around a little bit. He's going to give up some stuff, but for what he is, he's been solid. He's been consistent. He's been pitching on back-to-back days, quite a bit. Since I'm seeing multiple instances over the last month, that he's pitched on back-to-back days. And that's, they've just he's been a rubber arm dude. He's been a rubber arm dude for the Dodgers. I don't have any problem with Yohan Ramirez. After the great hug. Yeah.
He's the new Phil Bickford.
Yes. He's the new Phil Bickford. Absolutely. Yeah. You always got to have one, right?
We got to throw this one up real quick.
Yes.
It'll make you laugh.
Shout out to you, Don. What's up, John, man? Appreciate you, bro. That's one of our, call him Don. How scared are we about the Red Hot Angels coming into town? Blake?
Did they win a game recently or something? Is that why they're red hot?
I mean,
I don't know what the Angels have done in the last few games, but terrified of them. They got Ohtani. No, wait, they don't have Ohtani. They've got Rengifo and Taylor Ward.
Joe Adele.
I think
big trade piece.
I think Adele's back to like an 80 weighted runs created plus now. And,
take it easy.
They've got Mike Trout on the IL. Got to watch out for him. They got big Pat Sandoval starting tomorrow. Team Mexico ace there. So, yeah, going to be a good series.
Oh, man. All right, somebody give me something good. Tanner Scott.
Yeah, this is related. This one's related real quick. Over-under for Ohtani home runs versus the Angels. 2-game series, Dodger Stadium.
1.
I'll set it at 1.5 for the over-under. So you're taking the under?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take the over, just to be a little different here.
Okay. Again, swept. Angels, are we Dodgers sweeping that? Brandon saying 2.5? Are we saying 2? If I said 2.5, are you taking? What are you taking?
I'm taking the under because I'm picking 2.
Okay. Dodgers sweeping that?
Yes.
Clip it. Everybody clip it.
Okay. You can clip it. I said they'd sweep the Yankees when they were on their bad streak, but then they only took 2, so my record isn't great. But
always like
you can clip that one.
Bulletin board material. Give it to them all. Give it to them all. I just want to see them in runners in scoring position scenarios and how they come through in the clutch. Don't care. That's all I want to see.
This one up. Goodness. Did I like the chili cheese fries from the Hat? So yesterday while I was at a Rancho, Matt told me to go to the Hat. He told me to get a burger and chili cheese fries. I got the chili cheese fries. I didn't listen to him on the burger. I got the pastrami sandwich, which I did enjoy. The chili cheese fries, they shocked me because they were for like 10 people, and Matt didn't tell me that when I ordered them. So they handed me that, and I looked at them, and I was like, what am I supposed to do with all these? So I took them home when they were in my fridge, and I had them for lunch today. Didn't finish them still, but they were pretty good. I mean, I like the pastrami more, so Matt was wrong there, but it was a good place.
Yeah, I mean, you can get pretty crazy at the Hat. I know a lot of people in there probably have like a ton of different options there. I think Daniel was talking about like pastrami burger. You get pretty crazy at the Hat, but like their chili fries like are fit for like multiple people. It's pretty insane. Let's see. Man, it's getting pretty bare. I know we want to get to all these questions, but some stuff it's just like we'll talk about Tanner Scott real quick. This is a good question because he's somebody that we talked about earlier in the year. I specifically remember early on when Vesey was having some of his struggles. I know BC, I know some of the people that I see in here all the time. We had a conversation about that. We had a conversation about Tanner Scott, and I was like, don't care. Like pedigree wise, for the last few years, he's been consistently among some of the top left-handed pitching. And now he's getting some, a lot of trade buzz. And then people are just saying he sucked. And, there's just a lot of peripheral stuff that they just hate a ton. I think he's a guy that absolutely, just like you said, he can come in and he'd be a difference maker big time for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Vesey has held down the lefty reliever role, but if you can have 2 lockdown lefties in your bullpen and then add them along to try and in Phillips, Hudson, the back end of your bullpen, like that is a really tough bullpen to face on a nightly basis. And even if you have 1 or 2 guys out, then you still have 3 or 4 options. You can come in and be high leverage arms. Like, that's intriguing. Kind of build on your strengths there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he'd be something. It's just tough to deal with the Marlins. It really is. Like you just have no clue what they're going to be doing. They're just a weird organization right now. And then trading for relievers, it's got to be a big need. Like I really feel like, getting an arm like that is really something that you have to kind of be in, dire straits. So you have to kind of strike a deal with prospects that they really, are in love with to really make something like that work. Otherwise, you're going to get into a bidding war. And we know how bidding wars or how trading prospects and even lotto tickets for relief pitchers, especially left-handed relief pitchers, has gone with the Dodgers in like the last decade. It's been not good for the Dodgers and Andrew Friedman. Yeah, man, BC. He's been a dog. I know his stuff. He's been exceptional. I'd be all in if that was something. I'd be all in on it.
So this question, could you name one pitcher coming off injury surgery who's been effective? I mean, Blake Trinan is the first one that comes to mind. Been out for quite a while, came back, dominated. He had his little struggle there in Colorado, but overall he's been great. I mean, I know it's happened. It's not always easy to come up with names off the top of my head here. Kershaw's come back in the past and been good from injuries. I mean, there's so much randomness to it. It's hard to like say any guy's going to do either thing. Like you can't predict if they're going to totally be bad or be great. So, I mean, you just have to wait and see kind of thing for them.
Yeah, and it's just tough. There's a lot of pressure right now, and it's a weird landscape. It's a weird season for Major League Baseball. I really think so. And you see just how much, the league is down, and you just see a lot of these pitchers, growing list of pitchers that are going on IL, big velocity guys. You see Walker Buehler, how much he's struggled, and he's especially a special case, 2-time Tommy John. He's having to learn stuff on the fly. So, Huddy, but that's a different thing. It wasn't arm stuff. That was the knee. So it's just like arm injuries wise, it's been difficult. Yeah. Huddy's looking good. He's looking terrific. He's looking great. I loved him. I was all in for bringing him back. I was happy that he stayed around. He was contemplating retirement if I remember correctly. And it's great that he's come back. People are all talking about his walk struggles, and he's been pounding the zone, and he's a big arm for the bullpen. So, we've been talking about it the whole time. They need consistency. And with the Dodgers, they somehow always find a way to find a patchwork bullpen and make things work. And even with the number of arms out, they've just been, I trust whoever the Dodgers bring in, just because they're on such a heater right now with arms and bringing guys in from around Major League Baseball. And, Vessia's turned it around. Trinan looks great. Hudson looks great. Phillips, once he's trying to figures his stuff out against lefties, I think he'll be even better because he struggled a bit with that cutter for the moment. So whoever the Dodgers bring in, if it's a scrap heap type of guy or somebody they want to fix, like a Chris Martin type, and I trust whoever they bring in just because they're kind of on a heater this season. So I'm all in on what the Dodgers are doing on their bullpen front. All
right. So I have about 10 more questions bookmarked. Shall we just finish off with those? And
yep.
No one asked
anybody. Yeah. Anything last call for questions on this, because we've got some.
I'll throw up this one real quick just because it's been asked twice. Dave Roberts approachable by you guys in the press. What's he like in person? And have either of us met Dave and spoken with him? I think we both have, right? I think you spoke with him. Yeah. Dave's a really great guy. It's really easy to approach and talk to. He's pretty similar to how you see him on TV and in the interviews and all that. Yeah. Off the record, he's pretty funny. Yeah, Dave's a good guy.
On record, off record, he's exactly who he is. He doesn't change. So we've spring training wise, much more relaxed environment. He's BC. He's a really chill dude. I'm with you. Like it's Blake and I both have those. Blake 10 times more interactions than I have, but which just speaks to the few that I've had in with him on the the backfields at Camelback when we were there. Off record conversations, he is every bit as advertised. He's the same way with the media. He's gracious with his time. He's just a good dude. He's a funny guy. I definitely understand why the organization loves him. Players around Major League Baseball, appreciate the heck out of him, and why he's so good at, handling a clubhouse, because he just treats people like an adult, like players. He treats them like they're a Major League Baseball player. And he doesn't overmanage from that sense. He lets players be themselves. Appreciate the question. Yeah, he's an awesome dude. What do we got, man?
This one, you can do this one kind of rapid fire. It makes the playoff roster. It's hard to say because there's going to be trades and all that, but
yeah,
out of this group, let's say they go in with that. Who are you taking? And we're going to say 4 bench bets, and one of them is Barnes. So I guess pick 3 of them.
I'm going to say, oh my goodness.
I guess pick 4 because one of them's going to be starting at second, probably.
This is going to be crazy. This is actually a good question. Pages. I'm going to say Chris Taylor. And Chris Taylor, Gavin Lux, Pages. And the last one, man. How many make that from that group? How many from that group make it?
It depends who start. Let's say it's versus a lefty, so we have Hayward starting.
Man.
Well, I guess we can't say lefty because Lux. It's hard to say because someone's going to be at second and someone's going to be in the outfield. So if we're not counting Hayward, let's just say 4.
All right.
So leave off.
Man, Pages, I want Vargas, but I don't know if that happens. But I'm going to say Pages, Kike, Chris Taylor, and Lux. And then I'll be sad.
I'm going to say Pages, Lux, CT3, and Vargas. Leaving off Chris Taylor. We're taking the bat upside. You can carry Kike on your practice or your taxi squad and just have him around for the clubhouse vibes, but he's redundant to Chris Taylor and he's redundant to Miguel Vargas. So I don't think you need two of those guys on the roster with CT3 and Kike.
Thank you, BC. I'm with you, buddy.
Come on, can we give Vargas some love?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I had to say that. I just, hopefully it's just bias, but I want, I need to see them do it. It's one of those things where I need to see them actually do it, for me to believe it. It's a tough thing. We just know how they've handled Miguel Vargas. I thought it was ridiculous. I know about the defense with him. I just think his bat is something they need to actually give some run here, especially with this time. So if Dave brings up his play in left field one more time, I'm just going to say that's just, come on, man. Let's see what his bat has in him. I don't want it to be another, Michael Bush scenario and just go from there without even seeing what he has. And nobody bring up last year because that was a wash because of his hand injuries. Don't do it.
I think you'll have fun with this question.
Oh, my God.
I'm enjoying the cat. You can have fun with the question.
Just for the chaos. What if Andrew Friedman trades for Jazz to have a Jerry Springer reunion with Miggy Rowe? Chisholm plays shortstop, right? He's been playing a lot of. He's been in center field, right?
They moved him off a shortstop to center.
Yeah,
field.
So he's playing center. So it's for the memes, if they were to be yeah, all right, Jazz, we brought you in. We know it's going to cause some, it's going to ruffle some feathers with Miggy's locker, with Miggy Rowe in the clubhouse. We're going to stick you two next to each other, okay? We're going to have you hash this out here, have some words, maybe hop on Mookie's podcast and really talk it out. What's your thoughts on playing short?
It's not happening.
It's not happening. Yeah, thanks for the question, Dave. It ain't happening. It'd be funny, though. It'd be funny for the chaos. It's not happening. Let's see.
Yeah, this is another topic for you to you are very vocal about this one.
Shouldn't the Dodgers be more worried about Mookie being comfortable over Lux? Mookie talking about using the fractures of mental break is concerning. I mean, I don't know about concerning. It might be some relief, honestly, for him, because Mookie is he's going to try hard at everything he does. And he's such a perfectionist in terms that he's been exceptional in right field. His hardware that he's put up Gold Glove wise, and being at times being the number one right fielder defensively in all of Major League Baseball. And I know that coming into the year, he takes a lot of pride in his defense, and him being so willing to, accept the challenge of moving to the infield, and second base is not such an intensive position to play. And then saying okay to playing short, because you have to be, and I expected Mookie to say yes to that thing. It's it'd be, if he declined it, it'd be different. There'd be a different conversation, but I expected him to say yes. So I think, thanks for the question, but I think it's more so he knows how frustrating it is to have poor returns at a spot on the side of a field that he feels, probably the best at. He'll tell you that it's his offense, but Mookie takes a ton of pride in his defense. He really does. And that's why he wanted a new challenge. So I think that, him hopping away from, right field, going to second base, now being at shortstop, I would say that the Dodgers should be aware. I think they are aware, and I think they should, kind of take this, this break for Mookie and say, we know what's gone on. That's why I think, to Blake's credit, he said shortstop was the number one thing that they should do. And I agree with him, but it's just going to come down to options wise. And it will be a plus. And it's not even, people are like, Gavin Lux has been good defensively. And Blake, even at times, I think you said you'd prefer to have, Gavin Lux there if he's elite defensively and have Mookie Betts at shortstop and be fine. Right. And I think that's what you said.
I mean,
yeah,
with the current roster construction, I think that would be their best if Lux can kind of figure out his offense and Mookie's passable at shortstop. But with how they're playing right now, I think you have to go with Miggy Rowe at short and Mookie at second, because Lux isn't earning a spot at second.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But how much does Lux have to do on the offensive end for you to say it's worth keeping him there, keeping Lux there, and keeping Mookie at short? That's been my point the entire time. How much does Lux have to do for you to say, yeah, Mookie couldn't just do that, and then Miggy Rowe, what's the ceiling there? So what would Gavin Lux have to do to be like, we're going to keep running Mookie Betts out at short because for Rojas reasons, health wise, longevity there, and Mookie Betts, just for the sake of options this season, how much does Lux have to do to like earn that, that run from you?
I want to say like a 115, 120 weighted runs created plus guy, which I'm not sure he can be or is necessarily. So I think Lux is closer to like a 100, 105, maybe 110 mark at best. So
it's not enough. It's not enough. I don't think anybody thinks that's enough. So it's like, that's been, Brand hit like Ohtani. I need to see more of it. Like I need to see him be dynamic. And I'm just not seeing that. It's just like, oh, he had 3 singles and everybody's like, yeah, it's just not enough. It really isn't. And like, that's who they have right now. But when it comes time, like when he comes back there, you've got to think about, Craig hit 270. You've got to show more consistency there. You've got to get on base. I don't care if OPS is high. Like, I don't care if you're slugging, as long as you're getting on bases at a super high clip. It's just, I don't think he's that guy. I think his profile just doesn't work out for that. And he's not going to be able to do enough offensively for me to ever say that it's like enough for me past the All-Star break saying, yeah, this is who it is. So yeah, I see a lot of people agreeing. Yeah. OPS plus over 100, then he can stay and play. It's just like, it's been the topic all year. And I think when we look back at the season, if this is what it is, I will consistently say, I cannot believe an organization as smart as the Dodgers, continue to run that out there and then continue to run, like allow Gavin Lux to like kind of wedge this entire plan. Like they hinged their season, like their middle infield on Gavin Lux and barely being league average offensively just because he could play defense. That's what I think. Like at the end of the day, like if that's what I look back on, I'll talk about this for, years. Keep it a buck.
Yeah,
I will.
I know you will. That's why we're going to move on to some Teoscar stuff.
Yeah, baby. I mean, like more than wanted to pay, like who's out there? Like who's out there? Please, like, who's out there for them to do that? And who on the I don't think they believe in James Outman. I really don't. Like that's a big demotion. Like he's not a young prospect. Like I think do you think they have to re-sign him, Blake? Do you think they honestly have to?
Yes, but I'm also going to say Teoscar can get the qualifying offer, which helps the Dodgers a ton. And I think he'll end up taking that because I don't think any team's going to give him like a 4-year deal worth $20+ million a year. If the Dodgers give him the qualifying offer, like they're not going to pay up the draft pick cost to go get him from the Dodgers.
But like Teoscar himself said, he's like, I think he said he wants to stop moving around. Like he said, he wants to stick with an organization. So it's like to his thing, he might want to sign somewhere. Like Soler got a multi-year contract. Like that's the,
Did Soler have the qualifying offer?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
Oh. I want to say he didn't, but I don't remember for sure. He might have had it. But Teoscar, like, I think he said he wants to stay with the Dodgers specifically. So like maybe he takes a bit of a hometown discount to stay. I think the qualifying offer is going to hurt his market and bring that down anyway. So maybe the Dodgers get him for like $360 or something. And like both sides are happy with that. He might get a little more average annual value from another team, but like
he did not have the qualifying offer. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think that's a big factor with Teoscar. I think he's going to be 32, 33, somewhere around there. So yes. Yeah, I don't think any team's giving him a multi-year deal with the qualifying offer.
Yeah, I just checked. He's one of the players who didn't receive it. Yeah. Soler, Teoscar didn't get it. So it's just like
So that will benefit the Dodgers a lot in their pursuit of trying to keep him.
Yeah, he's shown a lot of what he is right now. Like it's been a joy to watch him. I love what he brings. So it's just Teoscar, Stan, and I think, Brandon, it says a lot for what he did. It says a lot for the kind of contract he took with the Dodgers. And I'm like, it's a high AAV, and he had every reason to like sit on the market and be like, his production speaks for itself. Like he's been an incredibly consistent player. So if they go with a qualifying offer and that's what he takes, and they just want to say, do it again. And that might be it. Honestly, that might be it. Like past that, you don't really want to keep a guy around way too long. but I see people in the chat tossing around like 3 for 51, 3 for 70, 3 for 60. Is that in any range there where you'd be okay paying that for the next couple of years in this window? Think in this window right now. Think in this championship window for the Dodgers. Like, are you comfortable doing something like that for him just to get a consistent guy that you know that you have under contract and you don't have to worry about it?
Yeah, I said 360, so I think I'm fine with that number. I mean,
cool.
They paid AJ Pollock quite a bit of money to try and solidify their outfield, and I think Teoscar is more talented than Pollock. So, yeah, I'm fine with it. He's a good fit. He's having fun. The fans like him. Good fit all around.
Cool. And, again, right now we're just going to take a second. Shout out to over 1,000 people in here at 11:20 on a Thursday. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. We'll just keep doing it, man. I don't care. Like, we'll just keep hanging out. And if people want to stay in here, that's what we're going to keep doing, man. Let's see.
Here's a fun one. How much money of Lindor's contract do the Mets have to eat for you to take him?
Can Grimace eat it for me?
No. But maybe the Hamburglar can rob a little.
BC is 221 for you. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, man. We got some things in the works. We've got some things. Blake and I have got some things in the works. Stay tuned, everybody, please. That's a lot. I got to pull up his contract. It's a lot. Like Lindor's contract is big, but he's been pretty good. He's had a big upside since the ovation. He's been like, I think, top 3 in the league.
Yeah, and the Mets are winning. The Mets, I think, are in a wild card spot or pretty close to one. So that's the thing that's tough with these trades right now. Like, every team's in contention for a playoff spot. So it's really hard to say, like, this team's going to trade or this team's going to trade because we don't really know.
It would signal a lot. And I don't think that's something that, Cohen wants to do. I don't think they're ready for that type of stuff. But, hey, I mean, like, Pete Alonso, like, that's a name that I feel like they could – yeah, Kenny, it's a big one. Like, it's a lot. I'd have to see them eat a ton. I know, Brandon, a third of it, sure. Like, it's if the Dodgers got tired of, if that's even something that Cohen dangles or they even think about doing, man, I know when I was on with Clint on his show, that's something that he mentioned, and I was immediately like, no. But the more you look at the market and like what the shortstop stuff is, it's like, it's not so crazy, but the money would have to line up. It's just that type of stuff you don't see that much money moving from one team to the next. It's just that's a ton. That's a superstar contract moving to the next. It's not like the contract that Verlander and Scherzer had, where you can just, trade a prospect essentially and just pay for the prospect. It's not like one of those things. It's where a team is signaling like, this is a pure salary dump just to get it off the books, majority off the books. It's just so much money. Yeah. People saying a GI. Yeah. Thanks. Like, it's a lot. It's a grip. That's so much money. You'd have to pay a ton of, I think so. For them to pay that much, the prospect return would be pretty big.
Yeah. I don't really see that happening.
It's a good question though. It's something to actually like to think about. Like, it's definitely is something when you try to forecast the shortstop market and look at it and what the Dodgers have, but it's also a thing where like the Dodgers will just try to patchwork it aside from, that's a very big commitment considering what they've done. And they've just how much the Dodgers have operated on deferred contracts, especially this year and last and the contracts that they've offered people in recent years. So it's just different.
So what happened to the playback? Are they coming back anytime soon? I don't believe so. I think there was some stuff going on with Sportsnet LA broadcast and stuff that conflicted with playbacks, like deal agreement. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, but Matt would know more about that. So you can ask him. I'm not entirely sure. So that's all I know there. And then Stadium Links Golf at Dodger Stadium. Is it worth it? Worth it? Probably not. It might be a fun experience, but I'm sure it's going to be expensive. I don't know the price on it yet, but I mean, if you want to golf at Dodger Stadium, go for it.
You've been on the links. Blake's been on the links, everybody. Just so you know, Blake's been out there hitting absolute laser beams. You want to talk about it?
I mean, we're almost to the 2-hour mark and still got some more questions. So if anyone wants to talk about it, hit me up on Twitter. But yeah, I've been out there golfing a bit.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Evan Longoria better than Kike or Biggio? Probably not.
Probably not.
38, 39 now, something up there.
It's not one of those things where it's like, if we're talking like, Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting that. If we're talking like a David Freese type of thing, like if there was somebody around the league to do something like that, then I'd say we have a conversation, but definitely not in that thing.
More super chat, John.
John
Through again.
John, buddy, go ahead. Yeah, Blake, give him some love.
Hey, John, we appreciate all your support. Everyone who comes in here and supports us, but John, you've been in here pretty much every time we're on, I think, supporting us with the super chat. So we appreciate it a ton. It's great to see you. It's great interacting with all of you. And it's the only reason we're here, because you guys keep joining in and giving us questions to answer, so we can talk about baseball with you guys.
Yeah. Anything crazy? Anything? Absolutely. Let me see. Yarbs, where is he? I mean, like, he's been used a bit. He's been used a lot. Like, there hasn't really been an instance. Like, I mean, there might have been some recently. Like, I would have hated to see him like for a big thing in Colorado. Like, how much has he pitched lately? I feel like he's been used the kind of the amount that I thought. Like, his usage has kind of been what I've expected of him this season. Yeah, I mean, it's been seldom, but it's been kind of like, what, it's been 5 days since we've seen him.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, he's going to pitch 4 innings when he comes out and then get a break for a week, maybe pitch 1 inning in between then. So that's just how they're using him. He's their long reliever.
Yeah. He's been kind of what
I'm not going to see him a ton. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Woo.
Our pitcher selected for the All-Star game. It's a MLB selection and player vote, so fans don't get to vote unless it comes down to like the final vote thing. I think they might be a possibility for. They've changed the voting format so much. I don't even think it's for that, but it's mainly just players and coaches and managers, and then Major League Baseball that does it.
And then the team signing off on if that's all that, and then it's a conversation and how many guys bow out, and then goes from there. So it's like, it's such a, it's popularity contest mixed in with like who's actually going to be available when that time comes, and who's like pitching schedule lines up. Like, you might see some of these top names like, oh, we just started, day before, we're unavailable. We'll be there, but they're just unavailable. That happens so much now.
Okay, we got a few left. Let's try and get through them rapid fire. Actually, finish off the show. We're looking forward to the Phillies series in a few weeks.
Yeah, I think it's a huge benchmark. I really do. I think, again, I'm on the scent that, like, I'm on the thing that we're facing teams. Like, the stuff I'm going to really look at is how they rise to the, the occasion against division leaders and big time pitching. And I really want to see the matchup against the Phillies pitching staff. So yes, I think I'm extremely looking forward to it, and how the teams where they're at, with this mixed match lineup and what they're doing, how much momentum they have, for sure. A good question, Eric. What
do we think about the newly signed 17-year-old from Taiwan? Don't know much about him. Going to be completely honest there. I mean, I think we have a write-up about him on Dodger Blue. There might be some more info there, but yeah, I mean, not an international scout expert. If Muncy's out for a while, do they need to go make a trade? Nolan Arenado a possibility? Probably not. I think we know Muncy's going to be out for a while. I think they expect to get him back for the postseason, and that's all that really matters. So yeah, I don't really see a trade there. They have other areas that they need to address.
Yeah, I agree. That's just, I don't, it's just another thing. They've got a lot. If you look at all those things and you look at like trying to replace somebody through the trade market, you could find, say they need to do a bunch. But I think they feel they have enough in-house stuff where they can fix their base, and they'll be kind of focused on fixing shortstop, or, remedying shortstop and outfield.
So these ones are kind of the same. So what starting pitcher should the Dodgers go after if they trade for one? And do the Dodgers add a starting pitcher?
Let me see.
I'm still saying at this point, no. I don't think it's going to be at the top of their wish list. If Yamamoto's out, then yes, it'll probably move up on their wish list. But at this point, I just don't really see it.
You know who I wouldn't hate, and I know you'll enjoy this? Jack Flaherty.
I mean, yeah, he's cool.
I wouldn't hate it. Yeah, I'd love it. But I don't know if they necessarily need that. I think they have enough, and it's just a matter of what do they value, and how does Kershaw look, and what do they see, and yeah, they've got some arms. It's just again, guys, it's going to look at what's the kind of the outlook for Yamamoto and what they think from there, because then that pushes everybody up another notch.
Gunnar Henderson, future Dodger when he hits free agency, making right on letting Seager walk. I am all for it.
Great question.
Gunnar Henderson. He's a big Star Wars nerd. If you don't know about the
brother.
story, him and Colton Cowser have the Star Wars Lego build-offs in the off-season on who can build them faster. They get like the $500 Millennium Falcon sets, and they compete to build them. So all in on Gunnar Henderson. Bring him.
Why'd you do that? You set him up for that.
On May 4th, he had the lightsaber-styled bat. It was super cool. So, yeah, bring me Gunnar Henderson.
Thanks for the stream. That's all we got. Jeez, Blake. Oh, great question, though, Hep. Yeah, I'm with you. That'd be insane. Just imagine. That would make up. Would that make up for Seager? Would that fix it? Or would nothing?
Yeah, I think that's like one of the few things. Very few things.
Won't be for a while, though.
Yeah, unfortunately. The Orioles' new owner seems willing to spend a bit more, so I'm not sure he's even going to hit free agency. I think he might be a guy they want to lock up and keep him around. So, do we think we see James Outman anytime soon? No, there's not really a spot on the roster. If someone gets hurt, that could change, but I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm going to say no. I don't know. Yeah, it's just I don't know how much I buy into it. He's been slumping. As just like we talked about it a little bit earlier. I don't think we see it. His defense is always going to play, but right now Pa has the run. He has the momentum, and there's too many guys up at the big league level.
Roki Sasaki's been out for a couple games due to an unknown arm injury. Are we concerned? I think anytime there's a pitcher arm injury, there's some concern, and Roki's probably a future Dodger, so adds to the concern a little bit more from our side here. But I mean, we don't really know much about it, so it's hard to comment.
Yeah, right on. All righty. I think that'll do it.
I think we had two more.
Got one more.
Two
more.
Future manager Max Muncy.
I mean, he's got a lot to give to the game. Like he's played his fair share of playoff games. He's, had a big turnaround. I mean, yeah, he's got that demeanor. He looks like a manager who would go to war for his players. I think there's a lot of qualities there. He's a team guy. Like he knows when to, when to push the buttons. We've seen him have some fire on the field. I wouldn't hate it. But just like Blake said, you see a lot of catchers right now getting a lot of run.
Future hitting coach Max Muncy, maybe?
Sure. As long as he's not like RBS.
I mean, they've got the same philosophy, so.
Don't do that. He's got to be different. I need him to be different.
If anything happens to Smith or Barnes, would the Dodgers bring up a AAA catcher or buy a temp? I think we'd see Hunter Fiducia come up.
Yeah, that'd be something. That'd be interesting. Yeah.
All right.
But I think Dalton Rushing's a trade piece. That's it. We're not getting into it. All right, John, buddy. Again. Don't. Go ahead, Blake.
I've answered a lot of the Lipsius stuff. It is your turn to answer Lipsius.
My thing about Lipsius is just like you said, he was a buy low guy. And he's, there's enough, but it's just like, it's all about numbers games, guys. Like he deserves it. Sure. Like his performance there, he's not a young guy. Like he deserves a call up. But it's just a matter of a numbers game and who they're able to maneuver around. Because once you get him up there, do they really want to do it? Is he a trade piece for somebody else? Does another team want buy into what he's doing at the AAA level? They're like, okay, well, we have a spot on the major league roster. Like we've seen that before. It's just a matter of do they buy into enough of him where another team wants it? Or if the Dodgers have an injury, like if we see an injury on a corner infield spot, he's played first base, I believe, right, Blake? I think Lipsius has been playing some first, but I don't know if second base or third, that's possible, but they've got Kike there. They like Kike there. Like Rojas has played there, like Chris Taylor as well. So it's just, I just don't think, I don't know. Not right now, at least. Later on in the season, maybe, but not right now.
Yeah, they'd have to make a 40-man move for him also. So
yeah,
just don't really see it anytime soon.
Yeah, and G.I. brought it up too. It's just it's taking away at bats from guys. And it's as much as when the roster's fully healthy, it's those struggling role players aren't hitting. Then you really have to talk about, okay, who are we taking at bats away from, and are they going to get themselves right in limited duty? But now is a better time than ever for the Dodgers to really maximize the run that they can have to get Chris Taylor right, get Kike right, and Vargas especially to see what that bat has. Yeah.
Well, one more just because it's here, and I think that'll be everything then. What company designed and who approved the city disconnect jerseys? Nike. Send angry hate mail to Nike about that.
Yes. Not Fangraphs. Not Fangraphs. Not Fanatics. Not Fangraphs. Not Fanatics. Oh my gosh.
You want to complain about the hat? get mad at Baseball Savant.
Yes. Right on. All right. We appreciate everybody. Thanks for the support as always. Yeah, we were on our way to 1,100 in here at a 2-hour mark. John, appreciate you. Everybody who sent in super chats, tune in, keep it on, looking out for us on Thursdays, check some stuff out. Blake and I will be doing this as much as possible. I'm going on vacation starting on Monday, so I'll be out for the week. We'll see you guys when I get back. But I'm Scott Geirman. That's Blake Williams. We appreciate it. Dodgers Therapy. We appreciate everybody. Go Dodgers. We'll talk to you soon.